Brothers, what we doing live?
Well, the investigation of COVID origins has been going on for several years. The Biden administration stymied us and wouldn't give us any of the documents. The Trump administration has been very cooperative, particularly Secretary Kennedy. They've turned over virtually everything. And what we now know beyond a reasonable doubt is that Anthony Fauci did indeed fund gain-of-function research. We have the evidence that the experiments were gaining in function. The viruses were becoming more lethal, more attachable to human cells, and more infectious. We do know that this was going on, that was funded by the NIH, specifically under the tutelage of Anthony Fauci. We know all of that, but we know even more now. We know that the initial estimate by the scientists at the CIA was that this came from the lab. They agreed with our supposition. But Anthony Fauci was able to coerce, cajole, persuade, and dangle money to get people in the intelligence community to change their vote. So a scientific commission within the CIA voted 6-1 to say it came from the lab. He somehow was able to get that change. We have evidence of that happening. The virologists that he handpicked that were big recipients of federal dollars, all of them initially were saying it looks like it was manipulated. The virus looks manipulated. He was able to convince them otherwise. We now have evidence that in January of 2020, that he was already acknowledging that the virus did not come from the wet market, that the wet market was a spreader event, but wasn't an initial event because we had lineages of people way before the wet market that were getting sick. Everyone acknowledged that, but for years he's been telling us it came from animals at the wet market. This was all misdirection. This was a conspiracy. This was a cover-up, and he has not really gotten his just desserts on this, and we want to make sure that the American public and that history records that he was involved with funding this dangerous research that led to a pandemic that killed 15 million people. There needs to be repercussions.
Oh, my. Does there need to be some? And how is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? I hope you guys are doing great on this wonderful Monday. And Rand Paul wants to keep interrupting me here, but I'm not going to let him. But how is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? It is indeed Monday, and we do have for you, of course, episode 215 of Hold the Line. And as you saw there, that was Mr. Rand Paul, a.k.a. Senator, you don't know what you're talking about. We're going to find out in a little bit who knows about what and what's been going on. But before we get too far into the show, let's bring in my wonderful co-host, Mr. MaQaveli. How's it going today, brother?
It's going well. Thanks for having me, Space Shot, as always. Thank gosh, this is coming out finally. We're getting somewhere. So Fauci's on the hook. It's fantastic. And hopefully he's not just the only one that's targeted. Obviously, there's more people complicit in this than just, say, Anthony Fauci. But this is a great start. But thanks to everyone that tunes in. Thanks to the mods. Looking forward to the show. A lot of things have been going on today, even with the Supreme Court. So let's get to it.
Yeah, let's see if this pulls up here quick, because of course it doesn't want to. All right, there we go. It did pop up. Me and Mac were talking a little bit about this, and please leave your comments in the chat for the best that you understand it, because I remember when they said that they came out, what are we doing? Yeah, we're going to block this. So basically when the pardons for Fauci came out, right, we were talking about the auto pen. And then everybody's like, well, he did the auto pen, and now it's null and void. And the only one that really was hand signatured was Hunter, and therefore all the other auto pen ones are done. But then I remember, Mac, and my memory's a little squirrely on this one with all the information in the last many months. But I could have sworn, like as of a few months ago, they basically came out and were like, no, the auto pen ones are cool. There's no rhyme or reason as to how it has to be done, essentially. So that's kind of hanging. I'd have to go and look up like Ed Martin maybe on X, because I think he had mentioned the auto pen. Let me see if I can find it. But any comments or points to that one? I'm wondering, because I don't Ed Martin. I don't remember precisely what the last thing was exactly that has been out, but that's how I remember it being anyway. So let me see if I can find anything with him. Now I'm going to see what the chat's got to say. Otto Penn. Hurt more Americans by freeing those who killed Leos. All right, so this is another one. So this is the only one he's talked about with this one, I guess. But so if it is indeed how I believe it is, that they're like, yep, the pardon's fine, no big deal, no problems. He's good, he's covered, and that goes back to 2014, which is extremely suspect, right? But let's just say, for this argument's sake here, that yes, the pardon is good, he's covered. Okay, well now he's got to go to court next month, or in a couple of weeks or whatever it is, and he's in a catch-22 at that point, because if you have, now again a big if you are all set and you're covered by this pardon, then you have to tell the truth. Otherwise, if you lie, then you can go to court for perjury. Now, people will say, oh, well, will they even throw somebody in jail for perjury to Congress? Because they've lied in the past and nobody's ever gone to jail for it. So that's a valid argument as well. But I'm not sure how this thing's going to shake out, but it's almost like a situation, that I would foresee maybe Obama getting into, You have to tell the truth on some of these things. I wonder. So any thoughts on that one, brother? Let me see what the folks in the chat are thinking over here as well.
Well, I guess the argument is there's no legal precedent of how you're supposed to do a pardon, but it's come to our attention that Joe Biden hasn't been aware of a lot of these pardons. So it would allude to like somebody like a shadow president, aka Barack Obama, probably. But
oh yeah,
if that's the case, that can't happen according to our laws. So I know I'm waiting for a ruling of some sort, because it is a very valid point. And President Trump said he's considered all of Joe Biden's pardons and everything void, except for maybe Hunter, because that was the only one in his signature.
He actually signed, yeah.
Yeah, we're in this such a weird time with this lawfare, because you got President Trump trying to be presidential, and then you have like our judicial court trying to hold him back from doing it from Obama's, appointments and so forth, or they're part of the deep state. They don't want to change things, which we'll get into, I'm sure, here in a sec.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen with that, because President Trump has a legal standing to say that they're not valid. So I'm curious.
He is the number one lawmaker in the United States, right? As much as they'll tell you on the other side that no, it's not, or whatever, blah blah blah. But he is, and when they say like, oh, he's telling people, he actually should be able to tell the Attorney General, who to go after or whatever, because again, he is the number one lawmaker in the country. And just really quick, some housekeeping, dude. I made actually I want to say this because Chris Schaus had put this in the chat from yesterday, guys. Wheezy says thank you guys all for the prayers. I had sent a couple of them out to her as well, but she's still ill, but she's fighting back. So lots of prayers out there for Wheezy. So thank you guys for continuing to pray for Miss Wheezy's speedy recovery. And also, yesterday during the show, I had thanked Darth Vader's mom for sending over an iced coffee, but then I had to actually go to the website to click into it, and it wasn't an iced coffee. It was the equivalent of 10 iced coffees or $50. So thank you for that, Darth Vader's mom. I just want to make sure that the wonderful viewers know what that was, and I do appreciate that. So yes, okay, all caught up. So yeah, we'll see, dude. I mean, things are just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And dude, no sooner than, 3-4 days ago that I said like, oh, look it, President Trump made this deal with Iran, and all of a sudden we don't hear about Iran anymore. And then boom, it's like, wait, we have joint attacks back and forth, and it's like, oh boy, what's going on here? So things are definitely speeding up, and of course, nobody is ever going to, the other guys, the bad guys, they're not just gonna give it up. They're not going to give it up at all. Let's see. So that was the criminal referral. And actually, Mac, I was going to go right down the list here, the way I set these up. I touched on one of these yesterday, but, folks out there, they want to see some damn arrests. And, I can't really help you for that right now in the United States, but we are seeing some of this stuff. Dude, this is huge. And I've seen this from a few different accounts as well. posting this out. It says, "This is just a small portion of the cash and gold reportedly found in the home of a single Iraqi member of parliament. Imagine what would be found if the homes of senior Islamic Republic officials were searched in the same way. This regime has looted Iran for decades." And remember, we're talking about Iraq right here, apparently. But also, I'll get into that in a second. This regime has looted Iran for decades. Hundreds of billions of dollars in national wealth have been stolen, hidden, and moved through corrupt networks, while ordinary Iranians are left to suffer. And that's what we've been told in the past, that all the money that we send to these countries, these people are not doing. They're not doing it for the people. It's not going for the betterment of the country or anything along those lines. But there are, at least that guy 2CTV says, there are a lot of Iraqis in Iran right now, apparently helping them out as well. So apparently they didn't like us kind of going through their Middle East 20 years ago, Mac.
Yeah, well, this was happening live on Twitter. I was trying to get validation the next day. It solidified it. So 47 Iraqi, I guess, politicians were, in this anti-corruption smackdown. And, anti-corruption is also counterterrorism. And isn't it ironic that China also got rid of several of their, I think it was 6 generals at least.
Yep. Yes,
and their
sir.
anti-corruption campaign right now. It does appear there's a global operation to get rid of the terrorists and the corrupt. So,
What a coinky
I would
dink.
say, yeah, this is fantastic. And if you follow the kind of just a little bit of the trail here, does China help out Iran? And then isn't Iraq also have infiltrated into Iran's government and provides, I forget the name of the entity. I'll have to look it up real quick if I can minimize my thing here, but it's all intertwined. So I think this is part of the corrupt network they're taking down. And it's really great that each country's like stepping up to do this.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, take your time. I'll read a little bit of this, and then I'll get into the China one in a second. But to Mac's point, and that's what I was highlighting as he was talking, sweep targeting senior politicians. So we're not talking run of the mill, everyday guys. We're talking senior officials in all aspects of every arrest we're talking about today. Iraqi security forces deployed in Baghdad's fortified green zone overnight in a large-scale raid targeting several politicians over financial corruption, a security official told AFP. Operation involved anti-terrorism forces and the military and was carried out per judicial orders. The officials said, speaking on the condition of anonymity, no official statement has been released, no names of arrested officials have been confirmed. The green zone houses the U.S. Embassy and other diplomatic missions, international institutions, government offices, and the residence of high-ranking officials and politicians. Video footage shared on local Telegram channels showed security forces in heavy vehicles, including tanks, operating inside the zone. So, dude, this is interesting that it was actually in the green zone. It's like, wait. So all these, I thought the green zone was like for us, but apparently it's like a safe zone in general for these guys. But this is crazy, dude, that we're seeing this. And remember, shortly after we had the boom, boom, booms over there in Las Vegas, we had a similar situation happen as we had happened here in Saudi Arabia, which was known as the 2017 Saudi Arabian Purge, where they also took out a lot of people for corruption and also, recouped billions and billions of dollars in fraudulent, activities. So yeah, it's making its way around. Maybe a little slower than we wanted, but at least we're getting some stuff publicly, dude. And I showed this one, dude. This was just I'll show this one first, quick. We got the big dog, Mr. Xi Jinping here. It says China removes 6 generals as lawmakers as Xi's crackdown intensifies. Arrests intensify. First Iraq, now China. Removed 6 military officers from its top legislative body in a sign that President Xi Jinping's anti-corruption drive is intensifying. The Standing Committee of the National People's Congress announced in a late-night note that 13 members have been removed and 1 had resigned. Besides the military officers, they include former financial regulator Li Yunze and former Xinjiang Communist Party chief Ma Xingrui, according to Xinhua News Agency. Now, Mac, I will give you another little. I showed this yesterday as well, but I will give you a little trip down the old memory lane. And guess what we got here? This was 2022. Remember this one? This is like one of my funnest of these last many years. This was one of my favorite videos to see. Hu Jintao. So this is posted by Ma Liao in October of 22. Hu Jintao, China's president from 2002 to 2012, was escorted offstage mid-ceremony at the party congress right next to Xi. The world saw an end of a collective leadership in real time. And the reason I enjoy this one so much is it's the look that Xi keeps giving him. It's almost like get this guy out of here. Oh God, I hate with the stupid music. Like, people always got to do the stupid music. Here we go, one more time. So he's like, yeah, take his ass and get him the F out of here. And I don't want to see him at this table right here ever again. Okay, sir. Yeah. Okay, come on, you got to go. Oh, what color is that folder he's got there, Mac? That's interesting. And he's just doing the polite face like, okay, yep, time to go. Gee, they trying to take me, I don't know where, page 7. Can you read it? Oh, no, let me go. Wait, let me say goodbye to my friend, G. G, can I stay? Yes, go, beat it. Have a good day. Kiss my ass. But again, we don't know what that was, right? That's just, an ex-president being removed in front of the current president, and clearly he does not look very happy about it at all. So those are a couple of things, dude. I don't know. Are we going to start seeing a pattern here, or is it going to kind of go to the next country soon? Very well could be, dude. I mean, you never know at this point.
We've been seeing it, at least for a year now, of leaders getting caught up into corruption charges. And this is just, the newest and probably the most impactful, considering the locations of both countries and the current state of what's going on globally involving these countries. So, and we know how, United States was feeding a lot of this. So
all of it.
Exactly. Most. I always said 90% of our taxpayer money was going away. And it's been surveilled. Like, we know that our military intelligence has been surveilling this network, and they've been surveilling basically everything. So we're seeing the cleanup effort, and as well as the alliances and, the peaceful inter-country relations. I think they're working together to help out. Take down this global cabal. And it's, the more you look at it, the more it comes out of that British Empire. Still say the Rothschilds and all them are hot topic soon, but this control system that they've had has pinched the world, definitely, for a couple hundred years at least. And President Trump has made some really amazing statements this past week about communism, and I think we've all been waiting for the hammer to drop, as we say, when it came to this, because we had the illusions of this, the symbolism, everything, and the Q drops in front of our face politically. Antifa was a communist flag, their symbol, and it was pointed out in our Q drops. So this is really a step in stepping up the attack of taking back our country and pointing out who the enemy is. And the enemy is the infiltrator. That JFK post of that speech, I don't know if you've shown it yet.
I have not this week, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It also correlates to Isaac Cappy's song, The Present. And in the JFK speech, it talks about how they basically are coveting, or not coveting, but rigging elections. I don't know if you want to listen to it. We can pull it up for you.
Oh, definitely. Let me see. Hold on one second. I think I do have some election stuff we'll get to. So yeah, definitely hold that up, and we'll touch on that one in a little bit. But definitely put that thing aside for sure. But yeah, this one was just one more piece of information on top of that. Here it says more than $20 billion Iraqi dinars, approximately $15.5 million, quantities of gold found in the home of Aliyah Nassif, MP, who was arrested along with her son, who had served as director of the office of the Iraq's former prime minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani. So much of this stuff, and remember we see this CIA guy a little while ago with all that money. What was it, 300 million in gold or 30 million in gold? Or crazy amounts of money in gold. But dude, I saw this morning, and I think this is like a total of a 2-minute thing, but I'm gonna play about 45 seconds of this. Oh, of course it didn't copy. I found a copy of this where Mr. Solomon was talking about this, and this is just, for me, it's supporting information or supporting documentation on things that we've seen.
Perhaps the most profound moment of the last decade of my career occurred in March of 17. I had just done a story that got Sean Hannity's attention, so I was on Fox News. It was about a rapid rise in unmaskings, where Americans' intelligence is looked at even though there's no warrant. They unmask your name and they know what you said to someone overseas and they don't get a warrant for it. And it had gone up like 200-300% in the last year of Barack Obama, which is very odd. It was odd to the FISA court. That's why they put the data out. They were concerned that this is a trend. I just thought it was a good civil liberties story, so I wrote it. And at that point, I had been repeatedly told that don't waste your time on Russia collusion. It's going nowhere. And by the way, from some of the most senior leaders of the FBI and the Justice Department, the very people who might also have gone out and told us there was something there when there wasn't. They were telling me it wasn't. Got home about 10:45, 11 o'clock at night. My wife's already in bed. I pull in the driveway, and there's a blue sedan sitting in front of my mailbox with its yellow fog lights on. And I pull in the driveway, and these two GI men get out of their car. It's about 11 o'clock at night. And as I'm getting out of my car, say, "Are you Mr. Solomon?" I'm like, "I don't know. Am I being arrested? What's going on? They could throw cuffs on me. Did I break some classified secret I shouldn't today?" You don't know who we are. We can't tell you who we are, but you're at the tip of a very large iceberg, and we hope you drill into it. And I'm like, what in God's name are you guys talking about? Well, that thing you were reporting on television tonight, yeah, it's a FISA court filing. It is the apex of a very large scandal, and you need to drill down in it. And all right, walk me through this, guy. Well, we can't tell you. It's all classified. Okay, that's not very helpful. Can you give me something of more generic description? Yeah. We work in the intelligence community, and our agencies were asked to participate in one of the greatest political dirty tricks in history. And if it isn't stopped, and one day when it is uncovered, we will lose the...
He says basically we'll lose the ability to use FISA and keep people safe at home. But dude, I thought it was especially interesting because he did later, just a few sentences before that, say we're from the intelligence community. We work in the intelligence community. And when he said, when they pulled up right here, these two GI men got out of the car. So again, just giving you guys basis for backdrops and things that we've dealt with over these last many years, where you have literally two military guys told him we're intelligence, and hey, we're at the apex of a very large scandal here, or you're the tip of the spear of a very large scandal. Keep it going here. And we do know later that him, because he goes on and talks about how he then called Sarah Carter. He calls it her work sister. His work sister is Sarah Carter. And then we later were told that Sarah Carter, him, and Hannity were basically ones to watch, and that essentially the bad guys were I guess, watching these guys, so the good guys were protecting them for a while as well. So just good information, trip down memory lane type of stuff that I like to bring to people's forefront if they hadn't. I'm sure you had seen that before, right, Mac? Maybe some of the folks in the chat had not.
Yeah, but it's a great reminder on how this whole thing with Q-Post started and how it was. I think a military operation to save our country, and we're getting more and more evidence that it's that's what it is. I mean, we got confirmation of Q, we got all kinds of fun stuff. So GI though is it's an informal term for members of the United States Armed Forces, so they're enlisted soldiers. So, I think he said, did he say military intelligence? Well, that would fall along with the Q posts.
Yep.
Again.
Yeah, he said GIs and then he said military intelligence. So I thought that was interesting. This was the one I was maybe going to start with here. So I thought this was interesting. Again, dude, they're never. I've said this
President
numerous
Trump's
times.
right again.
Well, who would have thought he was right again? Just keep in mind, everybody, while we play this, I believe didn't barrels of oil get up to like 120, 125 or something like that? While maybe 2 months ago, and gas was $4, right around $4, a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, and now okay.
And notice that once President Trump asked for that investigation into these oil companies for price gouging, the oil toppled to $69. So it really, wasn't all just the Iran situation. It was also these oil companies taking advantage of the consumers. And I think hopefully this investigation does point it out. And I'm glad to see that the oil levels back down where it should be. And President Trump, like I said, was right again.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, right, it's like I think it got up to 120, 125 or something like that. And, here in Rhode Island, for minimum, regular unleaded, we were paying right around $4, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But now we're down to almost half of that price. And at last check, I think it was $3.49 still, which is, it like he's saying. So let's listen to a little bit of what President Trumpo here is saying, and we'll take it from there.
Your Department of Justice to do an investigation for oil companies that you said gas prices were not coming down quick enough.
That's right.
And you are concerned that there is price gouging going on, taking advantage of the prices. Sir, can you elaborate on that?
So it's ExxonMobil, it's Chevron, it's Shell, it's BP, it's a lot of them. The gasoline or the oil prices have come down so much, and we are not seeing anything at the pump by comparison to what it should be. We should be, in my opinion, at $2.25 right now at the pump. And we're higher than that. And we are doing a big investigation on it. Yeah, they're not reducing the prices commensurate with what's happening. Look, we are sending out, think of it, 19 million barrels came out yesterday. That is a flood. That's like a gusher. That's an oil gusher. And they should be much lower, the gasoline prices, which really is what people see more than anything else, but for their car. But the gasoline prices should be much lower at the pump. And the oil companies are possibly gouging. I hope they're not, otherwise they're going to be in big trouble. They're going to be in big trouble. We're not going to play games.
Mr. President, you spoke in press.
Yes. Dude, I think this is where we're going to start getting a lot of different things kind of breaking out of the woodwork, essentially.
And I don't know if you notice this, but I just love how he approaches this. He's analytically looking probably at how much oil is actually, being taken in by the United States and globally, and then comparing it to what the price that they're actually, and then the actual supply, and then, what the fake news propagates against. And then you have the final step was the people that actually control the gas. So what if this falls into, again, another fraud conspiracy? And does it tap into a larger one even yet? One can only wait and see.
Yeah. I wonder if you could almost wrap this stuff into a RICO, because it is, because they're doing everything to essentially, what is it about? It's about, obviously they want to make money
mafia.
too. Yeah, it's like a mafia, but it's obviously they want to make money, but they also always want to just try to bury him. So I mean, you could probably look around all over the place and pull in all sorts of things for a RICO. It's like, they want to make it look like he's doing a bad job, right? And like I've said, the second we hit Iran the second time and we got into this conflict, 3 hours later I was at the gas station. They'd already raised the prices, and it should be the same the other way around. If we have 19 million barrels passing the Strait of Hormuz in a day. He says the record is 21 million barrels in a day, and Trump was not president when it happened.
And just think about all like the fake news and just people that have always told you that President Trump was going to be wrong, but either you knew that he was going to be right, or you just feel like, all right, well, we're going to see what happens, and he is right. Well, those people end up being what we are now going to be calling communists, and this is going to be the fun part of identifying the enemy, because a lot of communists are very good at infiltrating, and we're going to see these true colors as that we have, I think, since President Trump come out, but I think more so as we get towards the end of figuring all this out, because they keep pushing it more. Aren't you noticing that? Like they just keep, it's turning up the volume. Like it's forced on us. I don't see a stop coming until we put a stop to it. And I'm hoping that comes sooner, like real soon.
Sooner or later.
Like we got August. You get all these comms that every year we keep going through. And, August is going to be a hot month, and the October surprise, Red October, all this stuff. And we're just all chomping at the bit for this, the kind of.
We're ready.
We're ready. We need our elections fixed. We need the COVID to be justice brought, and we can go on from there. But we need to save our country, and President Trump's working hard. It's just when's the ball gonna drop?
Yeah, there's so many resistors. That's the problem. He's got so many people willing to push out, and they still got rid of a lot of them too. Ed Martin.
And we're trying to preserve the Constitution and the whole mix. It's not like so everything that the deep state's been trying to do, even with the FISA, is corrupted. So by corrupted, they would try to get rid of it, even though it could serve a positive function if handled correctly and legally. So I think this is all intertwined. And then you have the Supreme Court being shown, the justices. Our judicial system is corrupt, and I am curious to see what's going to happen from all this. Tomorrow is supposed to be birthright citizenship. They bet we won't have a country if we don't get rid of birthright citizenship. It just doesn't make sense. No other country has it. Is this why the Q's always said the military is the only way? Is because our last line of defense, the Supreme Court, is going to fail us, and the Constitution. I don't know. These are all like probable scenarios, and we're all just weighing on them right now. But
very, very well could
what do
be.
you? Yeah.
Well,
and then
if the guardrails are down, we need to get fixes.
I see you have the Federal Reserve thing. What was the ruling today? Like there was one ruling where Trump can get rid of anybody, but then there was a ruling that he couldn't get rid of the person on the Federal Reserve. Right?
Well, we got about 3 or 4 rulings to go through for sure.
I was confused by just those two because they seem to contradict each other. And I was wondering if you had any info on that.
Yeah, it's I believe it's because and the weird thing is like the Federal Reserve, for me, I've said this.
It's a private entity.
Yeah, it's a private entity. It's not federal. There's no reserves, and it's not a bank. So the whole idea of a Federal Reserve Bank being, part of the United States government is just laughable to me. But this says, and I think to your point, it might come down to, something along those lines where it's like, you should be voting for the right thing, right? And we'll see in a couple of these things when we get into the mail-in voting aspect of it. I don't agree with, of course, but in this one, in a 5-4 vote, the Supreme Court refused to let President Trump remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook while litigation continues, holding that the Federal Reserve's longstanding independence from presidential control is rooted in the nation's history and tradition. So that's 5-4 right there. And then, like I said, though, I feel like they've been giving us the correct rulings, when it comes down to things when it really matters. And again, does that mean that he can't get rid of her while the litigation continues, but maybe later on he can? What I mean? They're not very clear.
I think they're also setting the parameters of what each entity can do legally, you know what I mean? And without reaching outside their bounds. I'm curious how everything with the Federal Reserve is going to pan out, because we know we've covered it. It's pretty unconstitutional. And isn't there the new guy? The new guy seems to be pretty much in tune with us. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it gets really. I understand that the fact that it was a private entity and that prevents him. So that's upholding the Constitution. So that's okay. And then we get to the other part where he can fire anybody in the government. Correct? That's the other ruling that came out.
Well, yeah, he had one recently too, and I think it was about SES essentially, because remember, those were the people you couldn't fire before. But yeah, that ruling you're talking about is correct.
No, there was like 2 of them today.
Oh yeah, no, there's more we're gonna hit for sure. I just want to give you the ass end of this one here, so everybody knows who's on what side of this argument. Chief Justice Roberts delivered the opinion of the court. Thomas was against. Alito dissents as well, joined by Gorsuch and Barrett. So Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Barrett were the 4, and then Chief Justice Roberts went in with the 5 on that side. The 5 libtards, as we know. So yeah, that one's no bueno. All right, next ruling. Let's see. What do I got on the next ruling here? Supreme Court. Come on down. Oh, mail-in balloting. Lisa Cook. Wait, hold on. I did Lisa Cook already. Is this the same one here? I just want to make sure. All right, so this I see where you're getting like why it's weird, bro, because it is super weird the way they're laying out these things. Let's read these one by one, right? President Trump has been blocked from removing liberal Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board despite allegations, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Breaking in a big ruling, U.S. Supreme Court 6-3 allows President Trump to fire Democrat FTC Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter and abolishes the rule that initially blocked him from doing so. A nearly century-old precedent has just been overturned. Great, he's the chief executive. Should have been applied this logic to the Federal Reserve. No rogue branches of government. So FTC, is that the Federal Trade Commission? And so what would be the difference in that versus the Federal Reserve? In that I would think the Federal Reserve has less claim to being American than the FTC, but almost the same deal.
Well, FTC isn't a federal agency, and then the Federal Reserve is a private entity, correct?
Well, they tell us it is.
Well, that's how it's looked at as. It's not part of the federal government. It works in.
It's an independent agency. It says.
Yeah, it's these loophole stuff. So.
Let's see. I'm going to put the same question. I'll put the.
So that's really good.
Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve. So I'm just giving, because it says by the Board of Governors and the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC. It's a centralized under a 7-member governing board based in Washington, D.C., who are appointed by U.S. President and confirmed by the Senate. So appointed by U.S. President, confirmed by the Senate, the governors. So yeah, it's it's like, all right, you can get rid of the FTC, but you can't get rid of the Federal Reserve, folks.
Yeah, but saying I don't know. It's a technicality. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it. So
I want to listen to a little bit of Turley here because he's maybe he'll give us some context.
That
with it.
has to do with the ability of the president to remove members of independent federal agencies without cause. All right, so hang on one moment. Here's the headline. The U.S. Supreme Court has declined to allow the president to remove Lisa Cook from her job. Remember, they argued that, the allegation was that she committed private mortgage fraud. But that case, however, had not been concluded, I don't believe, in proving that she had. Now, with regard to the other case, the court does back the president's firing of the Federal Trade Commission member. Now, that had to do with a case by the name of a woman, Rebecca Slaughter. And the question was whether or not the president had the power to take independent federal agencies, the heads of those agencies, off of their job without cause. You know, Professor, it sounds like there's a bit of a contradiction the way I'm reading it. Go ahead and clarify it. Lisa Cook can keep her job, but others like Rebecca Slaughter cannot.
Well, at issue in this case, obviously I've not read the opinions as it just came out, but at issue in the case was a rather old and established precedent called Humphrey's Executor. And in that decision, the Supreme Court said that Congress could create a type of hybrid creature within the executive branch, could create a commission that the president cannot dictate who are members of, can remove those members. It barred that. It said that, in fact, Congress could create one that insulated the members from a sitting president. That has always been controversial because many scholars and many judges have said, look, you don't see any of that in the Constitution. There's no hybrid animals. There's no legislative branch, an executive branch, a judicial branch. So if they ruled against Slaughter and in favor of the administration, that would be a significant increase in executive power.
And that's why they didn't want to do it, is my guess. That would be why they didn't want to do it, Mac. Let's see. I got another little bit more context on this one for you as well. Ding, 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 ding. Come on, here we go. Supreme Court allows Trump to fire FTC commissioner and overturns major restraint on presidential power. So it's weird. It's like...
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it just... That particular body that they're talking about, that's... I guess it was... outside the scope is what the Supreme Court's saying. But this is really big. Like independent agencies, you can fire their heads. So that holds the heads accountable for, whatever they're in charge of.
Interesting.
And yeah, I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah, because it's almost like we get a loss, but you get a win at the same time. So it says on the SCOTUS blog here, Supreme Court on Monday gave President Donald Trump sweeping new authority over approximately 24 multi-member agencies that Congress intended to be independent. By a vote of 6-3, the justices struck down a federal law that bars the president from firing members of the FTC, except in cases of inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. That law, a majority of the justices ruled, violates the constitutional separation of powers between the three branches of government. And in reaching that decision, the court overruled its 91-year decision in Humphrey's Executor versus the United States, which had upheld the law at the center of the dispute. More broadly, Monday's decision was a major victory for proponents of the unitary executive theory, the idea that the president should have complete control over the executive branch. Yeah, why doesn't he, or why shouldn't he, right? Under this theory, the president should be able to fire any member of the executive branch, and laws like the one that court struck down that restrict his ability to do so violate the separation of powers. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice Roberts contended that, quote, the president must have the assistance of officers he can trust, although it's up to the Senate to decide whether to confirm those with whom the president would prefer to work. Neither Congress nor the courts may saddle him with those whom he cannot work. Subordinates who exercise the president's power are subject to removal by him. Then and only then can they remain accountable to the president and the president to the people. Justice Sonia Sotomayor penned a 49-page dissent, wow, that was joined by Justices Elena Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson, of course. Today, she wrote, the court discards the democratic regime created by the Constitution, quote, in favor of one that distorts the structure of the government to fit the majority's theory of unitary? I don't even know. Unitary? I don't know how you would say that. But anyways, unitary. Total executive control. The result, she concluded, is a president who emerges with far greater power than ever before. And I know every one of us was probably just thinking the same thing when I read that, because I was, yes, right? Federal FTC was created more than a century ago as 5 commissioners, no more than 3 of whom may come from any one political party. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is what... This is the slaughter girl that they're talking about here.
Yeah, I mean, I did a little post on this, and I'm glad we're able to get into this. It's like they said, a 90-year-old ruling, and it's prevented a president from doing his complete, or her, but it's been all he's job, since then. So it's pointing out I think a layer of the shadow government.
Yes. Yep. Giving him more power.
Remember the Keystone being the senior executive services branch? Trump was able to get a ruling on that where he could fire people inside of that branch. And that was almost virtual. That's like 2,000 people, I think, were virtually unable to fire. And so they just outlive presidents. And so this is where you get that shadow control system of that doesn't make sense to move smoothly with the party or the person that you voted into office.
Ooh.
And
You just
this
reminded
is
me of something crazy, dude.
yeah, and again, this is another layer of that shadow government, and this is all going to tie in. This is just I don't know how much further we're going to go with this, but it's pretty incredible. We're basically showing that the Supreme Court prior to today was, ruled outside what they should have. It was unconstitutional. Are taxes next?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's coming for sure. But dude, you said Keystone in there, and I didn't know this until yesterday. I was looking through a funny thing enough of all people, Gene Ho. Did you know that there's a Keystone at Mount Rushmore in that area?
Yeah.
I had no idea until yesterday. So
that's an old
the curve
one.
I am.
Yeah, that was an old one, and Gene Ho bought the rights to George Magazine. They just paid for them. So.
Yeah, very interesting stuff, dude. So this I clicked on the Humphreys Executor, goes back to 1935. Let's see if there's anything. This argument for the executor. Language implies, obviously. Yeah, this is it's 31-page report here. Do they have any summary? Let me see.
What are you looking at?
This is the Humphreys case that they just overturned, essentially. Certiorari. Oh, Certiorari. Who did that?
Oh, yeah. Basically, it was 1935, the United States was deep in the Great Depression. President Roosevelt was aggressively implementing his New Deal agenda to stimulate economic recovery. This era was defined by a fierce constitutional struggle between the executive branch and a conservative Supreme Court that frequently struck down New Deal legislation as unconstitutional overreach. The specific event correlating to the Slaughter case occurred on May 27th, 1935, a day known as Black Monday by Roosevelt supporters, when the Supreme Court issued a unanimous ruling in Humphrey's Executor versus United States. In the original case, President Roosevelt had attempted to fire William E. Humphrey, a Republican FTC commissioner, solely because he disagreed with Humphrey's policy views and wanted to appoint someone more aligned with his administration. Roosevelt claimed an absolute executive power to remove officials, but the court ruled against him, establishing that Congress could legally protect commissioners of quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial agencies from at-will removal. It was like a loophole.
Interesting. That is very interesting. Yeah, dude. He should have the power to, like it says, he's the executive, and hey, I really feel like, and I would say the same thing even for Democrats, right? I think this whole thing, like where a president comes in and they give everybody the 100th degree or whatever you want to call it, like whenever anybody goes, like what happened with Kavanaugh, right? Like all right, we have a majority in the Republican side, and then we got a Democrat president, and they got to have this guy come in for whatever, and then the Republicans just grill them, and then a lot of times make up stuff and do all this, that, and the other. And I feel like they should change that to basically you're gonna have to say yes unless this guy has proven, guy or girl, woman or man, has proven that they've done some sort of crime or something that you can prove on them. Because all it does is just slow everything up, right? Like everybody knows, like even per the drops, right? Justice moves slow like a big ass boulder. And that's the whole way the government works. Everything is just super slow. And it's all about, oh, well, I got to go check with this. It's like, no, President Trump wants this guy in here or girl in here. Boom, they're in there. You know what I mean? So unless you can find something like provable, like a big druggie or, a bunch of crimes on their docket or something like that, then yes. But otherwise, I think both Democrat and Republican nominees should be essentially just kind of pushed through expediently. Other than crimes, like I said, other than crimes and like major drugs, but
it's become like a theatrical, lawfare delay tactic. It's an abuse of power. They've let it happen for so long, and it looks like we're trying to correct it. So.
Yes, sir. You ready to get a little perturbed? Because we have another ruling from the Supreme Court today that I don't think many people are gonna, how do I put this? Dig. I don't think people are going to dig this one too much. Let's see. SCOTUS blog. This one came in at 10:04 this morning. In a 5-4 vote, the Supreme Court ruled that federal law does not require mail-in ballots to be received by Election Day, holding that states may count ballots postmarked by Election Day, but received afterward if state law allows it. Oof, dude, I so don't like this, but I'm wondering if there's any light at the end of the tunnel for this, like,
I read this two ways. We're a constitutional republic. States are supposed to, set the laws in order to do this. Now, the federal government's going to have laws that need to occur in order to have these elections. So this is where I get confused. It doesn't seem like a good thing, but this is, again, the Supreme Court is essentially copping out before the midterms, and the Congress can come through and pass the Save America Act and save the day. Now, will they do that? I think this is where we're getting exposed to all this corruption that's deep inside our government, and they may not. And President Trump, goes back to that decode that we played that video we played last week. I think it was the week before. I think it was last week, where 11.3 comes in 11.4, and it's possible that President Trump can actually call for a national emergency to protect our elections.
Sure can, and has, and we've been under one for about 10 years.
Yeah, but this one directly focused on our election. So now, has the post office denied mailing out mail-in bulk ballots unless they submit voter rolls? Has that taken place?
I had a story. I don't know if I covered it, but Postmaster said he would not. Oh, I got it.
So that's another way we can combat that.
Yeah, exactly. Postal Service won't send mail ballots to states that don't release lists.
Will we see fraudulent mail-in ballots show up?
Probably. But what about the time limits on these things too, dude? Because I'm wondering about.
This has got to be Congress's job. It's more or less is how I took the Supreme Court ruling today. It's like, we can't make the law. Congress does.
Essentially, yeah.
Which, they could have just said, I think they could have ruled on it to make it a little bit more clear. So
I wonder what the guys and gals out there are saying too. Let us know your guys' comments on this stuff too. This one right here, Mac, what I'm wondering about too is, and I'm going to read some of this ruling, but I would like to get your comment on, because it says here that, hey, all right, they can process the ballots that are received, not by Election Day, but they can count the ballots that are postmarked by Election Day. But then it comes down to, like, how long does it take to mail something in the same state, right? It doesn't take 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So maybe they can come down to some point where they can say, like, wait, why are we getting, all these thousands of ballots 3 weeks or even 2 weeks after, when they can count everything on the day of in many different countries while not using machines, So I don't know if that can be raised as an issue as well, the timing of everything. Like, All right, yeah, this is postmarked by Election Day, but it's a friggin' month later. It's like, you're telling me the mailman didn't get it here? You know what I mean? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And this ruling tomorrow with birthright citizenship, how impactful is that going to be when the midterms happen? Are we going to be able to do anything for that? And yeah, so we stop some of the fraud and not all of it. We'll have to see what occurs.
Ooh, I like this one, dude. You might like this comment too. Staceface72 on Rumble says, quantum device for each citizen that we could use for finances and secure voting. I mean, we need some sort of system, right, Mac? We need something that we know can't be messed with, and that can't be, and you know, is that blockchain at the end of the day? Probably.
Yeah, I think, you know, when I mentioned us being our own bank, it's alluding to something similar to that, where you are your own, you own your name, your personal information, and everything. If an entity wants your information, they got to pay for it, but they need your permission. And it shouldn't be in a long user agreement. I think companies are getting away with stealing our information and profiting off of it. We should be paid for that if they're going to use it, and we should have knowledge on what they're using. So that's, you know, we'll see if they actually do something with that.
Yeah, let me see. I see a couple of Staceface says, yeah, quantum financial system, LOL. A couple of people are asking where Lisa is, and B More was responding. She's working on her project, which she's been working on for, I guess, at least 5 years or so. So it was best I understood from it. But yeah.
We got some big quantum drops, obviously, in the past week or week and a half. And, you know,
still,
Elon disclosed Starmind. Have you gone over Starmind?
I don't even know what you're talking about, so no. What is that?
That's the AI component. You got Starlink. If you want to look up Starmind on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, give me one
But yeah,
second.
there's been some Q drop confirmations. This was a new one. Was it Luna posted this picture as well? Similar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she did. And this is
so that's Q post 14. Military
14?
Intelligence.
Oh, it's the same picture. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm over here looking for friggin' timestamps. All right. But again, that is, oh wait, 14? Oh, again, Mike's an idiot because he put 140. 14, there we go. I can show folks about this. And again,
one of my favorites.
Yeah, dude, they keep doing it. Like, to your point about quantum, it's like they keep posting it all damn week.
Well, so Starmind's going to be the AI component in the Starlink cluster, essentially. You know, it's going to be... And we have disclosed recently that they've uncovered how to wirelessly transfer energy from satellites down to Earth. So we have built ourselves what is called a Dyson swarm, and there's satellites built around a star usually, and they would collect energy and whatnot. But our case, it looks like the Golden Dome and what Elon's created with all these Starlink satellites is a Dyson swarm, and it can be used in many different ways. I'm sure our phones will be connected to something. You know, I think he just released that Starlink will be coming out, their phones, in the next 2 years. We've got military applications that can be used with, because we know that there's satellites outside of Starlink that are classified and of military importance. So, and then we have the direct energy stuff, like lasers, which I've been talking about for a long time. That will be a very key component to keeping our nation safe from drones and foreign objects.
I got your video, the Dyson swarm video up.
Yeah, this is a quick explanation of it. Just remember that it's not around a star; it's going to be around Earth, and we're going to be collecting the energy from the sun.
Just so I don't get a copyright strike here. It says physicist Freeman Dyson said power could come from a shell of solar collectors positioned around a star or Earth and convert its light into usable energy, known as a Dyson sphere. One type of Dyson sphere is called a Dyson swarm. Here's how a Dyson swarm might work. Tens of thousands of solar panels orbiting a planet converts its light into energy. Radiators emit the excess heat back of the array. Dyson believed that searching for heat signatures around distant stars could help us locate alien civilizations, assuming, of course, that they use the same technology. As photons hit the solar collectors, they nudge them backward little by little. Thrusters on the panel will occasionally fire to keep the arrays in position and avoid colliding with other members of the swarm. Lasers or microwave beams will send power where it's most needed, to robotic mining operations, space stations, or human settlements on Mars. Some serious star power. So it's almost like you got a bunch of drones essentially up there, kind of, using their own spacing and whatnot.
I mean, and then you just make it, you progress it into quantum technology. And this is just the beginning stages of it all. And this is how President Trump and the White Hats have superseded, loopholed the old system of communications. They've created a better one. And this is part of, I think, the Peace Through Strength campaign globally. Is President Trump is showing them what he has got in the works. And I think this is going to be allowing countries to possibly, be protected from it, is the best term putting it, from any type of enemy. So, security is one of the most important things for a country, and we've been doing security for the world. I think this Golden Dome would provide a future security, and also would, and under President Trump's leadership, force peace, because they know that his technology and his defense systems are superior.
Heck yeah. And dude, just kind of scrolling along here as you were chit-chatting there, it says the Iraqi DOJ just released a full video from a major corruption bust. Sounds like what we were talking about. They discovered a hidden room inside another room stacked with U.S. cash. According to the Iraqi DOJ, the warehouse was allegedly being used as a staging site to move money out of the country under the cover of night. Makes you wonder where all that money was headed, if you know what I'm saying. Dude, that is crazy. So I think that's in addition to what they've already found, because remember it was like the guy's house and they showed the stacks of cash, so maybe.
I mean, it's 47 members, so I guess I would assume each one of them would have one.
Yeah, dude, and they do have these. I was asking Ghost and Mike, and you ever see that movie Lord of War or whatever, where they go, I don't know if it was Lord of War, it was the one with the two kids were selling guns and stuff, the kid from Pineapple Express, I think, or whatever. The Jonah Hill, he was one of the gun runners in the movie. Where the hell was I going with this? Where was I going?
About a stash room?
Oh, God, the stash room. No. Jonah Hill. Where the hell was I going with this? Okay, the payment places. So in that movie, they go to like a military base. And inside that military base it's literally like a warehouse with cash. Like literally tons of cash. I was like, is that real? Did they really have that there? He's like, yeah, like that's how they paid out these people. They literally had boatloads and truckloads and warehouses full of cash over in the Middle East. And so you wonder where most of that stuff went. Now you're looking at it, guys. Not most of it. You're looking at a friggin', $20-30 million. You're looking at 0.00001% of probably that money that went over there. So much fraud went out of this country and went.
And I wonder if that money can be tracked at all.
I mean, dude, these guys have been telling me that they've been doing stuff that we're hearing about recently for years, as far as putting like different markers on money and things like that, like nano stuff. They got IDF strips in the $100 bills, and I think 20s. If you look through like a newer version of our currency, you can see the strips. So I think they're trackable. You can pull them out too.
I just, I don't know how they can track, if it's black marketed, so to speak. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, if you search for it, of course, it'll tell you no, it can't be. But yeah, I also wonder if it could be. You ready for a funny one, dude? I don't know if you put this in or if I found this on myself, but I think we'll both find this funny. All right, let's just play a little bit of it. Did you play this one?
Let's pull up the Loomer tweet as well.
Yeah, I've sent it to
Now,
you.
I usually
This
don't
is so
address
funny,
this
dude.
guy because he's extremely weird. And
Just remember, guys, we're talking about Larry Loomer here, Laura Loomer.
let's pull up the Loomer tweet as well. Now, I usually don't address this guy because he's extremely weird and has serious psychological problems and everything. But unfortunately, he does have a following on X and all that. Tweets out a lot of bullshit and says a lot of bullshit. This is the same dude who years ago was having issues with being deplatformed on Twitter and had people come to his aid about everything that's going on and, you know, basically try to get him replatformed despite some of the shit he was saying. And like, again, I believe in free speech. Everyone should be platformed. But this dude was also talking about having Elon ban the account Track APAC, which simply puts out pictures of U.S. politicians and the amount that through public information, APAC or APAC-related groups have donated to them. But this person doesn't like that narrative, so they want them banned. Shoes always on the other foot, and, you know, you become the person that steps. But what he tweeted out this week, this is from @LauraLuma on Twitter. Soon there will be a massive Islamic terror attack in America, and the perpetrators will likely have financial ties to podcasters and those who are sowing discord for foreign nations in America. I predict there will be many casualties, and only then will it maybe set in that people have been conned into supporting a terrorist psyop to distract you from the threat of Islam, while the enemy plotted to destroy our country from within with botted conspiracy theories.
All right, I think that's good enough, but dude, there's some. Well, all right. What are your thoughts, anyways, on this one? But I
Just
do
projection. You know, all these people are. I don't feel like they have a good intention. The United States. I think Julian here is a liberal. He's changed. He's changed a lot. Check out the picture that I took a screenshot of one of his earlier interviews. And he looks a little different.
Got it down the
Look at the
bottom.
bottom of the chat.
Fake hair, That's him. What the
Yeah.
hell? Hold on, let me.
I don't know what. I don't know what's going on, dude.
Looks like
But
maybe
you
he
go
gained
back
some
to-
weight too, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. Is he wearing a wig?
Nice. Rogaine. Yeah. All right. Let me get this one up on the screen. But I definitely want to discuss something about that because he could be having. All right. Let's check. So hey, he's got a new look. You know, he did the Thomas Massey thing. You know, leave the guy alone. He got a new look. He got some hair plugs. But that was him. So he was pattern balding and a goatee.
Now these guys do interview some interesting people. I do
definitely.
think they're controlled in some way, shape, or form. But one of them's admitted to working for Peter Thiel. I think it was Jesse Michaels. You know, Jesse Michaels is a pretty intelligent dude. Now, because of the access they've gotten to all these people to do these interviews, it makes you wonder. Because, you know, you and I don't have that access. So all I can say, it's abnormal, but I do enjoy the information that, you know, some of the guests come on and provide, and they are able to connect some clues.
This guy
But I never fall into, not him personally, but some of the, Jesse Michaels. Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I've never seen this guy actually.
He dives into a lot of science stuff, and it's an interesting interviews that he does.
Yeah, and my question is, where did these guys come from?
Well, that's what I'm. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. It's
what I mean? Like crazy amount of
so
followers.
I mean, they have it. They have. They do very good stuff. Like, I think Jesse's father has worked in the government before. Like, you know, there's these. So a lot of the comedians that you see, like even their parents have worked in the government. Like Bill Barr, his brother is actually lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, and they just found this out recently.
What?
Yeah. There's a couple of interviews about it.
The hell?
So there's this inner working of people that have just such strange connections, like the guy Oliver Tree. I'll put in that.
Hold on, Bill Burr,
the comedian.
Dude, I'm literally typing this after you said it. I'm like, wait, Bill Barr is related to the Smashing Pumpkins.
Bill
and then
Burr.
Then as I'm typing it, I go, wait, I remember seeing that interview. It's Bill Barr, Bill Burr. Okay, but dude, that's crazy, isn't it? Like, apparently they come to find out that they're brothers and they didn't even know it.
Yeah, and then you come across, the guy that died recently, Oliver Tree. He was interviewed recently by a comedian, Andrew Santino. Yes. And Oliver Tree, if you want to play the clip, it's right there at the bottom of the chat. I won't give away the surprise if you're going to play it.
Okay. I will.
But I'll just think about a lot of the connections of these bloodline families. And, it's pretty wild.
You did tell me, but I forgot.
I don't know where Oliver plays into all this, but take it for what it's worth. But it's definitely worth hearing.
I could almost, before I click on it, I could almost believe it due to, if his accident was an actual accident and he wasn't killed, or actually even if he was killed, it makes sense with the family. Let's see. Let's get this going full screen here for you guys. Make sure we're loud enough.
I've heard a lot of rumors about family lineages being connected to, like, I don't want to say it, but like the Kennedys.
Right.
And also,
Rockefellers?
some of the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to say anything. What the Rothschilds, like,
yeah.
your family does have a direct connection to all these people.
We do, yeah. They're taking all of your ideas, they're scrambling your little heads, messing with you. And then meanwhile, you're a little pawn in this game and they're doing such crazy. You can't even begin to imagine, Andrew. You can't even begin to imagine the shit these guys at Lockheed Martin are doing.
I mean, are we in danger?
Yeah.
Are you in danger?
Much so.
Do you have an exit plan?
I have two. Okay.
Can you share them?
Okay, here's the thing. Are you familiar with AI?
A little bit.
Okay. You know about ASI?
KSI, this Twitch streamer?
No, dude. ASI. Artificial superintelligence.
No.
There's AGI, artificial general intelligence. But what you need to understand is the people who are the most concerned are guys like me, billionaires. Okay, we're fucking scared for our fucking lives, bro. Because the second that ASI, artificial superintelligence, is created, people's jobs are obsolete.
Yep.
People are fucking no idea what they're gonna do with their time. And guys like me, we're the fucking targets. So we're building bunkers underneath our ground. Okay, Zuck just built one.
Are you buddies?
Of course. We actually went to UFC. Dana gave us tickets. We had front row. So me and Zuck, we both build bunkers. He did his in Kauai. Why do you think Musk is building a fucking rocket ship? It's not for fucking interest of keeping humanity alive other than him and his little grubby buddies.
So will you not be a part of that?
Hell no.
Accident?
All right, so, dude, there's so much to dig into on that one. The Kennedys, Rothschilds. He was related to the Kennedys, the Rothschilds, and the Rockefellers. That seems a little far-fetched.
That's what he's saying. I know.
Right? But dude,
but he makes that point about ASI and AI as we know it. It's been around a while, and we know that probably our the military intelligence has been building it. Anybody who had access to that and to do it without any restriction, it's considered a asset to any type of military to have anything that give you an edge. So
whoever gets there first wins.
Yeah, and I wonder if Trump has got a little bit of that ASI working in the background.
That's what I'm thinking.
and they alluded to the Q posts do allude to quantum. So I've always thought that Q was part of that, and we always know that there's multiple meetings in Q. So having multiple meetings is a definition of the math and quantum mechanics. And so I'll just leave it there. But I think there was one thing, Occam's razor it mentions, so that's mathematical. And when you just start putting together the Q posts and how they're laid out, you almost have to you're forced to piece different pieces together that are scattered and try to put together the puzzle in order to understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. And that's very much describing how quantum kind of functions in the background.
Interesting. Let me see really quickly here. I pulled this one up, and not for the reason anybody might think. One of my ex-coworkers sent this to me, but there's actually a point to it. But thank you, Lee337Q, for gifting out a sub to the Rumble channel over here. I do greatly appreciate it. And I was going to start reading them out during the show, so we don't have to do them afterwards. But, dude, so my buddy sent me this. My ex-coworker had sent me this, and he's like, "Oh, come out and play," and I'm like, "What?" So the whole thing of it was basically, you know, he thinks that George Bush should have been impeached because he brought us into war in Iraq, right? Which I agree with, and I'm like, "What? You don't think that he should?" And he's like, "Yeah, but he should too about Iran," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." But the reason I brought this up, and as much as I cannot stand this piece of crap or his brother, because they are the original, you know, Trump-hating scumbags, which used to be on the top of every one of his posts, him and his brother, like, right up top. But I noticed his icon for his channel, dude. I don't know if it's him or his brother. I think it's this one. But his icon of his channel very much is in line with all these AIs and AI folks. No, that is as well. If we go over to his brothers, watch this one. This is what these people want. Right? Well, we evolved, and they believe in evolution, apparently, these idiots. But, hey, we went from the caveman to a man that we are now, and this is what they want, Mac, right? They want to live forever. They want to be try to put their consciousness in a tin can and think they're going to be able to transfer their consciousness into a machine. Which, good luck with that, buddy. I don't think it's going to work. I don't know how God does it, but I don't think they're going to be able to figure it out either.
At some point, we're going to learn that evolution's full of crap. So
I already learned that.
Yeah. I don't know why they're referencing evolution like this, but I get it. They want transhumanism. Not going to happen. Exactly. That's the whole key about, you know, quantum and AI is that you're not going to be able to create consciousness. If they have, that's going to be groundbreaking, but that is something scary they have.
Mm-hmm.
Because consciousness, from what I understand, is it's something that can't be created just out of thin air. Because you know what I mean? Like it has, everyone has consciousness, but intelligence is directly attached to that. So, curious to see, you know, and then you have just critical thinking, and then you have empathy and all the human characteristics that they're trying to replace with a computer. It's just not going to be able to happen no matter how many algorithms they put in there. And that's always been like the big conundrum in sci-fi movies. They put a lot of truth in sci-fi movies and shows. I went back and watched a new one of the Stargates, and they put in, you know, the technology where it reads your mind to steer and everything. It's right there in like Stargate Apocalypse or Stargate Atlantis.
Oh wow!
They allude to it. Yeah, it's wild. So how far they've gotten with AI and quantum, I don't know yet. But it once it gets started, the progression is very fast.
It's gonna be crazy. And then you always have people trying to screw with stuff. Did you see this? Dude, this was so funny. Did you hear about the guy who he messed with his Tesla? Because I guess you have to be looking and it notices if you have your heads up. So this dude apparently got this like little doll and stuck it next to his mirror. So essentially it makes the Tesla think that you have your face up or whatever, so you can do the hands-free driving or whatever it is. So basically he did that and it worked. It did what he wanted to do. Well, guess what? Idiot crashed the car. Duh. Well, guess what? Of course, now he's suing Tesla because he's like, oh, I shouldn't have been able to fool this thing with a doll. It's like, what is wrong with some human beings out there? It's like, you did this all on you. Like, dude, if I did that, the thought of suing Tesla would never even come into my mind. I'd be like, I was an idiot. I did something stupid. But then you have these other people out there that just, I don't even know what their process is, that they would think like, oh, cool, now I can sue them. Just pieces of crap, essentially. I don't know, dude. It's just weirdos out there. Super weirdos. All right, what are we doing on next here? What we got next? We're almost halfway through with our links. Let's see. Oh. I I popped this one up, and then we're going to get into this is Tina Peters, whistleblower, fallen Navy SEAL. Says, Colorado put me in prison to cover up their corruption. I can verify many felonies Jared Griswold had committed, and AG Weiser and other officials have covered up. Read the Mesa County reports at tinapeters.us. And, of course, this was posted out by President Trump. Let's take a little listen to some of this here.
If I'm remembering correctly, there were several states involved.
And which time period are you referring to?
This was 2020.
Before or after the election?
During the election.
In your examination of any of these Dominion systems, have you seen any indication of non-election personnel remotely accessing a Dominion system?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
I too have reviewed a series of emails produced by Dominion in which they're discussing remoting into Gwinnett County, Georgia.
You also mentioned Dominion remotely connecting to election systems, but you don't have any evidence that occurred in Georgia, correct?
There was one county. I've seen a lot of Dominion emails. I've had to translate Dominion emails from Serbian to English to verify the technical questions I was being asked about them, to verify that it was translated properly. So
it's your testimony that there is evidence of Dominion remotely accessing Georgia election equipment?
Oh, God, is there, dude. And I'm sure we probably covered it maybe last week. But Dominion, coincidentally, recently dropped their lawsuit versus Mike Lindell, of all people. Isn't that funny, bro? Isn't that cute? But Tina Peters is out of jail apparently now. And remember, you had that election stuff, brother.
Just so everyone is tracking, Neville Singham was referred to the Department of Justice, I believe, for FARA violations by then Senator Rubio when he served on the Senate Foreign Intelligence or Senate Intelligence Committee. Neville Singham, regardless of what you might feel about your colleagues, has been a mechanism and funding arm of the Chinese Communist Party. He's not a registered agent by FARA and has been connected to a number of riots, to include the anti-ICE riots being funded in Los Angeles, as well as a group that was tied to and being investigated for the assassination of Charlie Kirk, known as, I think it was a group of Socialism and Liberation, and then also to has been avoiding our request for him to come bring information to Congress. He is definitely someone that is anti-American in ideology, and regardless of where you might stand, even on topics like Israel versus Palestine, is funding certain groups that actually sow discord in this country with no efforts to actually resolve the issues, only to get us to fight one another. So I would encourage you all, at least if you don't politically agree with one another, to at least respect the fact that he is a known foreign agent to China, has not been registered as such, has been made to fund riots, and has been known to be the result of many of our own Americans being targeted.
So, Mac, it looks like we got George Soros 2 or 3.0 here, which we've covered this guy in the past, Roy Neville Singham, whatever the hell the guy's name is. But I think he lives in Shanghai or Beijing, but over in China, and he doesn't want to cooperate. So I think he's going to be staying over in that general vicinity. Staying far from the United States as well. But they surged a grand jury investigation into the CCP-linked billionaire leftist NGO donor Neville Singham, involving $278 million of possible financial improprieties. They're examining whether mass fraud or money laundering occurred as he financed NGOs and other groups. Comes after he was exposed for being behind a lot of leftist unrest and his links to the communists. Expose it all. So yes, dude. It says Soros next, like he's not a target out there. He certainly is. And dude, I got a
Soros is
yep.
He's funneling $103 million into midterms so far. So the funnels are still available and they're all being exposed. So We know that Soros hasn't gone away. His name wasn't even allowed to be said on like Fox News. It was crazy. Remember that? They're like, we're not really supposed to say his name around here. So this is great that they submitted a grand jury investigation against him. So all we can do now is get rid of the other ones too. So
freeze his damn assets if he has any part
sanction
there.
him.
Yep, sanction his ass and pull him out. But yeah, we have troublemakers from other countries that don't even live here, but yet are hell bent on destroying our country. And dude, she mentioned, no matter where you sit on this, whatever between Gaza and Israel, and bro, I played this yesterday, but it's so good and juicy that I can't not play it right now. I called it yesterday. What did I call it? I had a label for it. The gay rep walk of shame. Did you see Scott Wiener in California? The gay rep that's all about the pedo crap. Get absolutely screamed out of a function because all these gay people are sitting there yelling at him as he's leaving because of friggin' the thing that would get them killed over there. Palestine and Gaza. I can't believe you're doing this on Palestine and Gaza. What you've done on this is a shame. A lot of screaming. Get ready. It starts off nice and light, and it gets nice and juicy. I thoroughly enjoyed this, dude.
Scott, I think your legislation on trans issues and your legislation specifically protecting queers on the sex offender registry is fantastic.
Good job.
I really applaud you for that.
Yes.
And I think you deserve to be here for that. But I think your housing policy, and specifically your housing policy aligning with YIMBYs, and I think your policy, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza is terrible. I think you do not belong here. I think you do not belong here. You do not belong here, Scott, anymore. It sucks because you've been wonderful. You've been wonderful for trans people.
Oh, dude, it
I
just
think we
puts a
get the
smile.
point.
Puts a smile to my face, though, dude, to see that, to see the disgust on his face and that he's getting screamed out of his own function. Oh, I'm loving it, dude. Dude, it's look at the Gaza-Palestine thing. I don't know, obviously they're not happy with his stance on this, but I would be interested to see a group of these guys go do a, pro-Palestine rally over in Palestine and see how it would work out at the end for them. You'll have a lot of rubble.
All
at
these
the bottom
people
of
are
the buildings.
dressed like clowns and
I know.
whatnot.
I noticed this one specifically.
What are they doing in that part of our country? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's San Francisco. It's apparently super expensive to live out here, dude. You're talking like a 1-bedroom apartment for like $2,500 minimum, and not even a big place. Watch the girl with like the crazy colored nylons.
It's all because of fraud, mainly.
What the frick is this? And dude, this is like one of those people that's like, all right, wait, am I screwed up enough that people will look at me and give me the roll of the eyes? It's like I'm convinced that's what they want. They want people to stare at them and go, ooh, what is that? What else could you be doing when you leave the house looking like that? You know what I mean? Like you're trying to have people notice you. And that's just, it's gross, dude. It's oh God, what is wrong with
somebody's
these people?
daughter?
Yeah, it's somebody's
or sister.
Somebody's something. Oh, how about these two? Is it a guy and a girl? No, it's a guy and a girl. A guy and a guy with long hair. And I couldn't tell at the end, dude. It's getting so bad at a certain point. Is this the same guy that was like yelling at her from the side? It looks like it. At the very end, you're gonna see. And again, I'm not even making this up. Like when I tell you, I can't tell half the time now if they were a guy and trying to be a girl or a girl trying to be a guy. But I don't know. What do you think about this one right here on the right? I'm leaning towards it was a dude going to be a girl. What do you think?
I'm not even really caring about watching any more of this, considering who it represents.
Oh, dude, I love it. I'm going to go with that's a dude. Nice nipples. Okay, we'll get him off of there. But, dude, I love, what comes to mind when you see that, though? There will come a time
Communism comes to
down
mind.
the street. Well, yeah.
It's what it's disguised as. That's exactly transhumanism, this LGB, whatever. That's all part of their plan. It's communism.
LBGTQ, LMNOP, QRS. I think you had, well, let me see. Let me go. I think you had a decode. Did I have a picture here? Did I doubt? You had a decode, but I think I did a decode as well on the same thing. So let me see here. I'll pull yours up. Yes. So I think it's this one here. What I do? Put it in the show links. But dude, I thought this was pretty interesting. You want to take it away?
Yeah, I mean, Maggie Hagerman was misspelled in Q-Post as Haberman. And now she's in a bunch of them. I think there's one Maggie, if you looked up in the Q-Post. But obviously a correlation to Q. And we know that her story is that she's been a Hillary person in the background. Well, how she's stuck around, we don't really quite know. President Trump has mentioned her name multiple times. Now, he misspells maggot here, so I just use that to, search, as we've been taught, in the kill brackets, the missing letter. And that brings up, the Q post 452, which gives the go sign. That early the next day or that morning, we struck Iran. So I kind of took that as a go. But, who knows? I just noticed the anomalies. I think there's a lot of comms in here. I just stuck with this for the time being. But what do you got?
Well, just matching the timestamp and things that you were doing as well. I'll pull mine up here really quick. I just added in the WikiLeaks thing that they had attached to it because it kind of shows what they do and what they talk about and whatnot. Where is it? Maggie Haberman decode. So what did I say? Post. All right. So you post it at 12:22, and then conveniently, as you had mentioned as well, based on a very quick blah 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 blah. 12:22 a.m. So we don't add 1200 for military time. So it's 12:22. Hello, Maggie. Trust funds deposited routes from EU. Blah 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 blah. Think public and private Twitter accounts, and then this link right here, the WikiLinks deal. So why do they use Maggie? She should have got off the train. They gave her a warning years ago, get off the train, and she stayed on the train of working with these folks. But this is kind of proof to how she's been working with folks. This came out of the WikiLeaks deal. Says, for something like this, especially in the absence of us teasing things out to others, we feel that it's important to go with what is safe and what has worked in the past, and to a publication that will reach industry people for recruitment purposes. We have had as a very good relationship with Maggie Haberman of Politico over the last year. We have had her tee up stories for us before, and we have never been disappointed. While we should have a larger conversation in the near future about a broader strategy for re-engaging the beat press that covers Hillary, for this, we think we can achieve our objective and do the most shaping by going to Maggie. Yep, that's our girl. That was their girl. I don't know if you got a chance to look through any of these, Mac, and I'm probably going to have to do some scrolling, but oh dude, that's badass.
He just did an announcement on the gas, maybe while we were talking about it on the show right here.
Oh yeah, I just saw the picture. I saw you had clipped the picture.
This is have a read. Let's see what it says.
Gasoline retailers must get their prices down immediately. They're too high considering that oil is now at $68 a barrel and heading south. The retailers must quickly react to this statement and do what they know is right. Drop your price for our great American people. There will be no gouging. It
should be gouging. It's a misspell.
Right? All right. So I didn't know. I just which is totally illegal. If retailers don't do this, big problems lie ahead. Start targeting around the $2.50 a gallon number, and California should stop charging such heavy taxes on their gasoline. Soon the tax will be higher than the product itself, and the United States will not stand for it, nor will the people of California, who are being abused by these ridiculous taxes and by their own government. President Donald J. Trump.
Dude, with that misspell, it's a O instead of an A. It then goes to Q post 452 again with the go sign. Owls, good hunting. Yeah.
This one right here. Right?
Yeah.
Go code is imminent. Maybe it's a go code for the end of this movement, or wrapping up some folks, as we are seeing some arrests in other countries. I don't know.
I don't know what the go would be other than Iran, but always the news unlocks the map, so we'll trust that and see what happens.
Oh, for sure. And dude, I don't know if you got a chance to look at this.
Look at the numbers: 250, 2000, like 250 years. They keep pumping the 250.
Yeah,
you go
I'm
down.
Yeah, 1 second. Dude, you remember there was a Cube post that had the but it was like a German one of these.
Iron Eagle.
Yeah, the Iron Eagle one. So I'm wondering if
this is the Golden Eagle.
Yeah, I'm wondering if 1023 perhaps might be. Let's see. 1023. Good. No. Arizona. Yep. McStain. What was the other one? It was 823. So I don't know if that's going to be it. We'll see. 8. We'll take, check line code, brute force will be necessary, T2 warning alerts, sat rec, embed string, I'm thinking it's nowhere, but
satellite stuff.
But like you're saying, dude, there's lots of
could be satellite stuff too. I mean,
very well could be. I'm gonna stop when I get to that picture that we covered earlier, the one that I sent you last night, and I'm gonna kind of show folks now. Actually, you know what?
We got you talking about the Trump-Obama picture?
This one right here. And I don't, to be honest with you, I don't want to keep people waiting too long. But I know this one does it. Let me see. Feeds. Real Donald Trump, True Social, Save Selection. Okay. So this is why I want to do this, is because every time you go here, you have to basically click on them to get the details and the minutes of everything. So what I had messaged you last night, it may have been very late last night. I think it was like 2 a.m. So you probably didn't get it till today. But he was posting last night around 10 p.m. I saw it at about 2 a.m. And when I get to that image of the one we covered earlier is when we start seeing it. All right. You noticing anything here? I thought, and you guys in the chat, let me know if you agree or disagree or whatever. I think he was gauging the second-hand deltas, okay? And I think that he thought he had a bead on it at that point, and I think he was trying to go for a 17-second delta on this one. All right, so 22:46:03, 22:46:19. All right, that's 16 seconds. All right, but why am I thinking that he's doing this with the deltas and stuff, right? Well, and we go to 22:46:03. And from this one is 16 seconds. 22:16:13 to 22:16:3 is 10 seconds, right? 22:15:49 to 22:15:19 is 30 seconds. All right, we go to 22:15:00. Then there was nothing. Maybe there's minutes and whatever from this one. Let's see. This one's 19 seconds, so it could be post 19. Let's see. 15, 19. And there was a couple more that basically went down that road. So 10, 15, 20. He did 10, 20, 10, 30, 15. And then a few times in a row, I think was it this one? He did 37. And then he did 37 both ways. So if I can find that one. But you see what I'm getting at, dude? Like he was dropping these things, and I think he was trying to gauge how many seconds could be in between each one of them. And I think he feels like he maybe had it down, and that last one was an attempt for a 17-second delta. What do you think? Am I fishing for something that's not there, or do you think he was actually doing that?
I'm waiting for a zero delta from Trump and Scavino. That's how you would confirm that that's back on. I think playing around with the seconds right now is not accurate. As accurate as say you would attend, like you were pointing out, possibly. But if there's a zero delta between Scavino and Trump, and they're posting within like 5 minutes and stuff like that, I start paying attention to that. But the pattern here, if you can figure something out and point it out and how it correlates, let us know.
Fire away. Well, yeah, that's why I noticed. I started noticing. Well, only reason I did is because I noticed. I was like, wait, that's all right, and that's a half a minute, and that's 10 seconds, and that's this, because he does them right in a row too. And what you'll notice here is 15:59 is 39 minus 2, because it's on the same, is 37. And then this one, 25 seconds, how do you get to the next minute? 35 seconds plus the 2 is 37. So 37, 37, then we had a bunch of ones in a row. So let's see what the chat's thinking. Am I crazy? Who's crazy out there? Bamla saying, what's the point? I think the point was President Trump was playing with the decodes, with the deltas, to try. I don't know if his end goal was to try to get a 17-second delta, but I think that's what this attempt was.
Well, it's something to keep an eye out, but as soon as you're able to figure out the next step, which would be why, how is it important or how does it apply, then I think you'd have something. But if your pattern recognition is on point, then you got to put together.
Yeah, and I didn't because like I said, it was 2 a.m. and I didn't get a chance to take a look to see if there's any, anything in between, 3 minutes here or whatever, and you start going down the minutes and the seconds. Might be, never know. Never could be. But I truly believe he was definitely doing this on a schedule. Like there was no way this is random, because they were all like boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? In a row.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But dude, yeah, I'm just wondering too. Is that real gold? There's no way. Isn't gold plated even? I mean, it's at the most.
It's definitely gold plated. I don't know if it's down. It doesn't look 100% gold. Say that. Probably gold plated.
What'd you make of this one?
It's a nice historical representation of past, present, future. Wouldn't you say? Past and left, present in the middle, future is mixed in with the robot and everything. I don't know.
What's this? Is that supposed to be his uncle or like Tesla, or is that another famous scientist that I don't know?
I don't know. I don't know who that's. Is that Wright brother maybe? Because you got the plane in the background.
Almost looks like he's holding something like a. When I first looked at it, I thought it was like uranium or something like that. Of course, it's too big.
You just click on it. There you go. Oh, it's a light bulb. So Thomas had his.
Oh, okay,
Gee, I couldn't see it when you were playing it.
What's with this dude? The hell? Bringing past and future together.
Paul Revere, be like a famous person with that hat. George Washington, and then you got the wars. You got the American Revolution, World War I. Is World War II represented? I don't know. Yeah, there's the flag being So this is all very interesting.
Past meets future, apparently. But dude, I really do think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get us back to a constitutional republic, and they're showing all these different ways in which our country has been infiltrated in many different ways, how we've been taken advantage of, and also, everybody in this crowd, you, myself included, everybody, we were all pretty much asleep at the wheel, right? Oh yeah, government's got, they're just doing what's in our best interest.
And I think they're doing a great job in identifying the enemy and what was been the hidden enemy in our country.
Yes.
So if you go back to the Q post, it did allude to in a bunch of ways about, the royal family,
speaking of
the British Empire. it alluded to all that stuff in the control system, the Rothschilds, the bloodline. So, these people almost operate outside of laws of countries because they have so much money and so much power. Yeah, and then there's this. So we know that there's been something going on in the background, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, they're renovating the Buckingham Palace. Still? When did the renovation start on that?
I forget, but they're not moving back in. I think it's in about a year or two that it'll be done, and they're not moving back in. So what is Buckingham Palace going to be? I think it's going to be a housing for their servers, I think, and then some events. It'll host some events. I think it says it. I think it says it in the article. You scroll down a little bit.
King Charles and oh god, I can't believe they even write that, dude. King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla don't live in Buckingham Palace inside their London residence, Clarence House. Dude. She must be a magician in the bedroom, I'll tell you what, because how you got rid of Diana for that, I don't know. But anyway, need to know, in June 2026, Buckingham Palace announced that King Charles and Camilla will not move into the palace following its renovation. The royal couple will continue to live at Clarence House, which they've called home since 2003, the 5-bedroom estate located in London. They're not planning on moving anytime soon. On June 25th, Buckingham Palace revealed that in the annual Sovereign Grant Report that the royal couple will not relocate to the landmark residence once its $487 million renovation is completed in 2027. Instead, they will remain at Clarence House, where they've been since 2003. Quote, His Majesty retains huge affection for Buckingham Palace and a deep respect for its role in royal and public life. It will remain a working home, but we are seeking to widen the public access precisely to maximize the national benefit of a publicly funded building. Located less than a half a mile from Buckingham Palace, Clarence House is a 5-bedroom royal residence that has been home to several members of the royal family over the years. I gotta see what this thing looks like, dude. Oh, wow. Looks like a friggin' government building itself. 1825 and 1827 for Prince William Henry, Duke of Clarence, who would later become King William. Residence was designed by John Nash. Loyal London residence has been home to many royals. Former Prince Andrew, Fergie there, the former Queen. Who's that? That Queen Mother? Maybe no, that's not her mother. And then Diana and old Charlie there.
Charles.
Oh, Charlie. Charlie bit me. I'm just wondering if there's anything. But dude, how weird is that? Like, all right, maybe because they like, living where they're living, they don't want to move back in. But, and again, I don't know. You ever remember seeing the video of like somebody that was like allegedly sliding out the window of the place? I don't know if that was found to be a real video.
Yeah, I think it was a real video.
Buckingham.
It was a naked, looked like teenage boy.
Naked. Let me see if I can pop that up. Buckingham Palace naked. Meanwhile, outside Royal Buckingham. Oh boy.
We're seeing like decolonization. Like how many? We had like Jamaica. There were certain British territories that countries have chosen sovereignty recently in the past few years since COVID. And so we have British territories around the world. They're collapsing. I think British Empire is losing, and I think they've been exposed. They probably were involved in the election fraud. Trump's trying his best to preserve what, England and all these countries who participated not to collapse governments and so forth. So I think he's getting things in place, building new relationships, creating peace. And once we have peace, we get the real truth, because there won't be any subversions and tactics that can prevent it, like our taxpayer money being stolen to fund the propaganda. So
left and right.
I think we're getting close. We've got midterms coming up, so we've got a lot of action that's going to be coming our way. I just don't know what the bad guys are going to have in store other than delay tactics and complain.
No kidding, right? And dude, allegedly this video shows it. I've only seen a small clip it, so I didn't know if it was legit. Like, this is a long video going into this.
Yeah, that's legit.
So yeah, you don't get much more legit than that. I mean, we saw what, 20, 30 seconds, 40 seconds before this, and what the hell? And they're laughing like, ah, look at that, the guy's naked, ha ha ha. So it's somebody probably scared for their life, trying to escape for their life. But dude, that's a 43-second clip right there. I'm actually gonna record this sucker as it goes, because like I said, I've only ever seen the entry to this clip, like where you actually see, all right, it's zoomed in, the guy is kind of sliding down the side, but this has all this context beforehand. And and the funny thing is, you got the people that are on camera are smiling, like, oh, look at naked guy. It's like, yeah, who would be doing that if you weren't trying to escape for your life and then jumping that far?
Yeah, it's like it.
That's not good at all.
We
bro.
know that Queen Elizabeth was brought up on, was it crimes against humanity, wasn't it, in certain countries, and she can't be charged. So
Australia.
I don't know. I remember us talking about it. I just didn't remember what country. But there's a lot of corruption that's been avoided, and this is how we're getting rid of it all.
Let me see. I'm going to pull this up for you because Australia. Now, I remember it as, I think it was Queen Elizabeth and Prince, her guy Philip there or whatever, allegedly took some kids for some sort of a camp or something like that, and then the kids had never returned. So that's what the allegation was. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, then it was Prince Andrew, I guess. Maybe not Queen Elizabeth, but sounds about right.
No, this was Queen Elizabeth and Philip. They were saying something happened down in Australia. Anybody in the chat? I know we do have a couple of Aussies, guys and gals out there, and I apologize. I don't know if you're supposed to call a guy an Aussie or if that's a general term, but I had heard that story, dude, many years ago, like even before Q. I got one for you, dude. This is totally off script, and I had no plans on bringing this up. Was JFK gay?
There's rumors that he had a boyfriend, his best friend.
Yeah, dude. I know he's like the hero of everybody here and whatever, but dude, there is some.
He liked to dress in women's clothing, possibly, or is that Junior? Really? I don't know. I get it's before my time. I don't get caught up too much in it, other than JFK set up special forces. He wanted to dismantle the CIA. UFOs and UAPs do apply into his assassination, along with everything else. So again, when we get more clarity on everything, it'll all kind of fit into place, I believe. But
what do you put for and this is, of course, this is just a guess, and nobody, I don't think, will ever be able to prove it. But what confidence do you put into that whole the Scherf family? The Bushes being the Scherfs. Like, do you think you hold a lot of confidence in that story?
I don't know that one, but I've followed the bloodline all the way back to the Nazi times, and they're totally complicit in the funding Hitler. And you have these entities like the Brown Brothers and Harriman that played an integral part of that. That's still standing today, and they played a big role in forming some of our country. And it's not really talked about, but there's another entity I came across too, and I'd have to pull it up just on a side note. But what's the Surf story? I'm not following that one.
I think it was the Scherfs. Was it Scherfs?
Or the Scherfs. What does that mean?
So there's a picture too. I would have to find it in my stuff, but essentially the long and short of it was there's a picture of Martin was it Borland, Otto Skorzeny, a few of these other folks that were Nazis, but it was in the United States, in like Ohio or something like that. But the whole long and short of it essentially was saying that George Herbert Walker Bush Senior was, I think, George Scherf Jr. or something along those lines. But essentially they're saying the Bushes were actually the Scherfs, and they were Germans, and they came from Germany.
That's quite possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'll find that maybe for next time for tinfoil hat segment. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Oh wait, no. Freedom. Oh, okay. I thought it was gasoline, but this is a little different.
Mr. President, this is a presidential memo to the Environmental Protection Agency, a presidential memo supporting the freedom to fix. Americans have the freedom to fix their vehicle. President Trump insists upon it. We are not going to be going after people who are fixing their own vehicle like past administrations have. Additionally, we've been concerned, President Trump has been concerned about aftermarket parts, cheap knockoff aftermarket parts coming into the United States, harming small businesses, harming Americans. This presidential memo puts an end to it. Also, the only third-party certification for these aftermarket parts, it's CARB in California, a process that's backlogged and faulty. So we're going to break that monopoly, and no longer will CARB be the only third-party certifier for these aftermarket parts. Again, President Trump is insisting on fixing it. This presidential memo does that. President Trump was calling me up on a Saturday night when this idea first came to his head, and he says he wants to do a press conference right away to get this over the top. In February 2nd, we signed a right to repair for our farmers so that they can repair their tractors and their non-road equipment, and this is covering everyone else.
I mean, think about it. It came to my attention because I noticed they were arresting people for fixing their car. They were arresting people for fixing it. That's not even believable. Anyway, so it's right to fix, and I think it's really common sense. If somebody wants to fix, some of these people are better mechanics than the mechanics in the shop. They're telling the mechanic in the shop how to fix their car with it.
You ever see this, Mac? You had certain, and I know a few cases, like one in California where these guys had like a diesel truck, and people getting all sorts of fines for stuff, and it's just abuse. I think, you know, they're showing undue influence on normal folks just trying to fix your vehicle, and I think they need to do a better job of making sure the parts that come into our country are checked out and certified, because we did. And remember, dude, I used to be in the, I guess you could call it the automotive remanufacturing business, or, aftermarket market. We sold to the people that would actually fix it. So, like, take a bad starter, they would take it out, put all the new guts in it, and sell it out to, AutoZone or McLaughlin's or whatever your auto parts stores are around there, right? And then, geez, what was it? I don't know, right around 2000-ish, I want to say in that ballpark, give or take 5 or 6 years. I noticed from my industry that they started flooding us with front wheel drive axles, for your car. If anybody ever had a bad drive axle in your car, when you turn the wheel one way, you start feeling like a vibration, then you turn it back straight, it stops. Well, drive axles, for a car might be minimum like $100, right? Up to a few hundred, 400, 500, and more for, higher class vehicles. But they were selling them like the most expensive one was like $49.95, but most of them were like $19.95. But get this, Mac, lifetime warranty. That's what got all the people to buy this stuff, is because, hey, if it breaks, which it will, they'll give you a new one, no problem, and it's free. But what they don't tell people, of course, is unless you can do that job yourself, you're going to be spending 2 or 3 hours labor replacing that drive axle. It blows up, you go get a new one. Well, that auto parts place ain't paying for that as well. You're going to have to pay again to have it swapped out. So they destroyed our aftermarket drive axle market. At the very least, they did a really a big number on that one, and AC units as well. But that's just one product line, and they've done it for so many over the years that like all these countries are doing whatever they can to make money off us and just put us in the shit house, essentially. Oh.
Interesting. I was not aware of that. I thought of chop shops and how they used to like you would have to pay an import tax to ship a car in, but some countries would that are good at fixing cars, you can kind of figure it out on your own. They would unassemble the car, ship it over in portions, and then reassemble it in the United States and avoid that tax.
Yeah.
So I looked at it as like them being fraudulent and replacing parts and stuff like that. I didn't realize that the angle you talked about. So interesting.
It's wild for sure. Got it. Interesting. Oh, actually, that's funny. You said play this one. That was literally what I was going to next. We're on the right path, huh?
Yeah, we were talking about JFK. Now, at a minute is when the Cappy lyrics come over, and I did make a video of it, but let's listen to this, and then we can get to the other stuff.
Yes,
it's very applicable. JFK knew it was up. I'll say that.
For sure, yeah. They showed their disapproval of him for sure.
Somewhere other than in the United States. Let me ask you, sir, just how serious a threat to our national security are these communist subversive activities in the United States other than in the United States? Communism is so often described as an ideology or a belief that exists somewhere other than in the United States. Let me ask you, sir, just how serious a threat to our national security are these communist subversive activities in the United States today?
Well, I think they're serious. I think it's a matter that we should continue to give great care and attention to. We should support the laws which the United States has passed in order to protect us from those who would destroy us from within. We should sustain the Department of Justice in its efforts and the FBI, and we should be continually alert. I think if the United States is maintaining a strong society here in the United States, I think that we can meet any internal threat. The major threat is external and will continue.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy recognizes the necessary restraints of national security. And the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed if we are to oppose this kind of attack as well as outright invasion.
Oh, I love his speeches, dude. And the covet means.
On subversion.
Say it was something
Yeah,
like
and then-
Cappy in here?
No, you gotta go to the. I made like a little video to match up the speeches.
Oh, okay. Photo.
Yeah, it's a Cappy song. There you go.
Ding ding.
Go to the bottom. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltrating instead of invasion, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of election, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. It conducts the Cold War in short, with a wartime discipline. No democracy would ever hope or wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy recognizes the necessary restraints of national security. And the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed. If we are to oppose this kind of attack, as well as outright invasion.
Hey guys, do you want some more Trilla? I could get you lit up one of two ways. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Said I felt like the whole world was begging me to rain fire above upon my enemies to the level.
Very cool, dude. Was that really Bill Gates, or was that a thing of him dancing?
Yeah, it was really.
Oh,
they might have. I don't know. I don't know if they. I think they did a meme on it. To be honest.
Yeah, because it looked like he was humping like Ellen's thing here. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, is he really doing that? But that was cool. Cool little video there. But yeah,
It's crazy
huge.
how it matches up to that Isaac Cappy song. I know we have mixed feelings about Cappy, but one thing he did do was make people talk about this hidden layer behind the scenes, and he was dropping names about Hollywood and all kinds of stuff. So it really got people talking. I still think that he had a lot of truth to what he was saying. I just don't understand the whole details surrounding everything he was involved with. You know what I mean? There's a lot of mystery. His death even. So
Yeah, it was weird the way he was like, he was kind of having his back and forth, and then he came onto a live stream and he was all frantic, like, "Yeah, guys, I screwed up. Yeah, bad things are coming to me," and it's like, and it almost made it seem
Oliver Tree.
Yeah, and he made it sound like he tried to do something maybe to benefit himself or something like that, but it didn't work out. Got himself in trouble. Obviously, and then it jumps off the lowest bridge in the history of bridges to, perform a suicide from.
And
Seemed a little weird.
Yeah, another in that JFK speech that's important is he talks about infiltration, not invasion, and that's Q also highlighted that, and we know that that's basically what we're facing now. It's in our face. Trump finally, dropped the communists are invading us deal. So
yeah, sounds much better to call themselves socialists, right? That's what he said, something along those lines.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it was like Democrats, socialists, and I was like, it's just. He said it's another name for communists, and I was like, yep, preach on, brother.
Hey, I haven't actually played this.
I haven't either.
Yeah,
I just saw this, and I recently came out. I thought it's great because I love Nikola Tesla, all the science behind him, and Thompson T. Brown, and then who was associated with the alleged Philadelphia experiment. We had talked about that before. So let's hear what he has to say about Nikola Tesla and probably his uncle.
Oh no.
How?
Hold on. Oh, it is super, super low. Hold on. Let me see if I can't get another copy here. Because I might be able to jack it up, but if I do, it might be distorted. Shrimp. Deck. See if I can find one here on Twitter quick. No, not there. All right, let me see if I can jack this up. Mac, just don't say anything because I'm going to be jacking that sound up. Here we go. Let's see if it gets any louder here, just by any chance. All right. All right, I'm going to try my best here.
Yes. How crazy.
Wow.
Our working.
I can't even get it up, dude. So I'll just read it as we're going here. So he's been.
Uncle.
All right. How crazy is this? Is that you're working with? Can you just roll this up? Blah blah blah. He's talking about the microphone. He says, "How crazy is this that you're working with Elon Musk? Today's Tesla, yeah. And when Tesla died, it was your genius uncle that was sent to try to figure out what papers should be kept easily. How crazy is that? So my uncle was a great, brilliant man. My father's brother. My father was working very hard to put my uncle through MIT and all that. And when my uncle graduated, he was so brilliant that MIT said, why don't you stay here because be a professor, which is crazy because it's pretty good. He 3 different degrees. He was really amazing. But as he went through life, he was very successful as a professor at MIT. But he was also very successful at other things, like discovering genius things. And the United States government gave him an assignment of finding out whether or not Mr. Tesla was the real deal, or was he not the real deal? In other words, was he really great, or was he just an average guy? And my uncle did a report on it, and it was nice. He said he was really great. A lot of people in that position, would be jealous. Yeah, but he actually said he was great. And here you are working with today's Tesla. That's right. So great. And Elon, he's a great guy too. Yeah, thank you. His genius uncle.
Yeah, so Tesla's work still classified today. So
really,
so Trump's telling us that his uncle figured it out. That's awesome. So I think that's kind of pretty much confirming the rumor. So
dude, I feel like he's got something, right? Like the way he's handled countries, and I don't feel like he's the king of Saudi Arabia, the king of Israel, and all these different countries, but I feel like he has demonstrated to them that he either has some weapon or some technology that is far beyond what anybody else has. That's my guess, and I can't, obviously I can't prove it, but that's what I think.
Well, one of them being cold fusion. And once you figure out fusion, I've said this, you can figure out a lot of other things, and it applies to quantum mechanics. And one of the first things you learn about electrons and around an atom is that they can teleport. So electrons can exist 2 places in one time. And so they've probably figured it all out. How they did it, I have my theories, but it's going to be very interesting to find out what else might be unraveled. I think Trump got into office and probably figured out that we were concealing a lot of this technology and it was holding us back, and we were selling the country away. And he kind of figured this out a long time ago, that these globalists were trying to take over United States of America. And it's just crazy how this is all working out.
It is, dude.
And I think with all that, what was the guy that disappeared that told us about the thing? Pretty much, the deep state can't go any further. Remember that guy? And he talked about, like, it was maybe looking glasses, maybe what they called it. But I think it has to do. Yeah, it really has to do with possibly that, but also possibly a quantum computer or something along those lines. Like that has to do with predicting. So
big time.
So
something predictive.
Because they're taking this in a very, very calculative and careful route. Wouldn't you say? If he did it like when Biden illegally got into the White House, half the country maybe have been up in arms. Well, now that we've seen all this unfold, I think he's got over 80% of the country at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
once he drops that gas prices down more too, people will be happier about that.
Exactly, and they can start trusting in Trump instead of doubting him, because they realize and they come to the realization the news is fake. But the people globally are the biggest, part of this equation. Inside the United States is one thing, but also globally, we are trying to prevent World War III. I think the whole next apocalypse was centered around this World War III. I mean, if you look at how all the, Hollywood and the news and just culturally, they've forced war on us. And, the next thing is going to be global warming or a next big nuclear attack or a meteor is going to hit us or something, just conjuring up fear.
Always.
And Trump's just getting rid of it all. And it's fantastic. And it's good to see people waking up along the way. I welcome them aboard, but I also keep a watchful eye, considering where some people, I'm talking more about people on TV and trying to control or influence us in how we think and trying to find the truth. So I always keep them at arm's length, knowing the fact that they may have been a liberal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
like a lot of the comedians, a lot of the music people, a lot of the Hollywood actors, some of them have been true to themselves, but then, there's people that are coming over. I think they're realizing what's going on, but they can't jump on board completely. And they're constantly doubting. They don't like Trump, or they're getting paid in some way, because it's at this point, it's common sense what's actually happening and how he's correcting what's been flawed or been corrupted.
Yeah, and it's, it seems so easy and vanilla, and I 100% agree with you, and I believe that it had to be this way. That post, in my opinion, is a direct target to whatever that thing was that we experienced from 21 to 25 under the Biden, the term that President Trump was president but doesn't want the credit for. Yeah, that was definitely, it had to be this way. And that's why, because they needed to lay this stuff out slowly, because unfortunately people don't pick up on it. But when you notice how expensive things get, and then once you start seeing things get less expensive, and then the biggest one for everybody is usually like, oh, it's gasoline. And it is really, too, if you think of it, at the end of the day, you have this cyclical economy that, in my opinion, is too reliant on energy, right? Because, now that the gas prices are up, now the gas stations, obviously, they charge more, and then therefore, the tractor trailer that's bringing your groceries to the grocery store, that cost X amount of dollars more, and that comes over to the folks, right? And then so it just racks up, and it's a very cyclical nature that when you can reduce your prices on energy, it's going to reduce prices on most things. And I think, unfortunately, dude, I don't think they have any plans on getting rid of, us using gasoline short term, because everybody's still fighting back the electric cars. And I'd like to burn some tires with an engine, gasoline powered engine whenever I want. I wouldn't want to go with battery myself, but to make that the standard, that's going to be a big change, and I think it's going to take a lot of time as well. Definitely going to take a lot of time. But Mac, what's let's see, how's your we talked about this a little bit before, but I'm showing you guys my my state this upcoming week, and apparently it's summertime, guys, because, and some of you guys might be Florida, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico people might be rolling your eyes and saying only, but for me, it does stay around 50 to 70% humidity in Rhode Island. So when we get to 89, it's going to be whatever, 96, 97, 94, that's going to be toasty, and it's always humid. But of course, Mac knows the reason I brought that link up, or why I showed you guys that. I didn't know it was a comedy thing, though, dude. Let's listen. This is weird.
Did you know more?
Okay, bud. You can just play the first part. She goes on, and it's intertwining different types of jokes. So I would just play the first punchline. It's pretty funny.
Gotcha.
Europeans die from heat than Americans die from guns. I'll say it again. Did you know more Europeans die from heat than Americans die from guns? I'll say it again, okay? More Europeans die from the summer than Americans die from an entire year of guns. And it doesn't even get that hot in Europe.
Doesn't it? Why are they dying then if it's not that hot? I remember hearing years ago, maybe 5, maybe more, I don't know, but I think it was France. A lot of people were dying of heat, essentially, of being too hot.
They reported, I think, from this last heat wave in France, 1,000 people died.
Damn.
That's insane.
Let me see.
Let me look it up. I found the article. It's like I couldn't believe it. Like, what's going on in France?
Nearly 1,500.
Oh, yeah. Here's the article.
There you go. Is it Reuters? I got one for you here.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get it. Hold on. There, ding. And I do that, folks, just so you guys don't see the.
Yeah, let's cover this in a sec too.
This one.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But yeah.
Where am I going to?
I thought you said you found an article. Did you find it or no?
Okay. Yeah, that was.
I erased it.
No, you're good. I got one. I was just gonna say, yeah, fuck it, and go back to yours. Here we go. Ding. Ding.
Could be an updated
by the way,
version.
What the hell is this lady wearing? By the way.
Oh, I know. I don't know.
It's just
hide in the fupa.
Something with the pants there.
Hide in the fupa.
Record heat wave disrupts Europe as France warns death toll to rise. French health agency reports 1,000 excess deaths, warns excess deaths. Record temperature records hit in Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, and Austria. Extreme heat causes disruption to transport, power generation. Forecast expect cooler weather in Western Europe this week. All right. Temperatures hit 40 Celsius. 104 Fahrenheit in parts of Europe on Sunday as storms moved into other areas, with France reporting 1,000 excess deaths, dude. What's a excess death? Was there going to be X amount of people dying of heat this year and it's 1,000 more than that now? Or what is that? God bless you, I think. Let's see. French Public Health Agency said most of the heat-related fatalities.
Jesus.
You're good.
I'll die.
Involve
I
older
thought I was
people.
muted.
No, you was. I think you were sneezing, but yeah, it wasn't very loud. But yeah, so it's saying mostly it's older folks that are passing away, and I think don't they have like lack of air conditioners in the houses over there? I'm pretty sure that's the deal. Like where not a lot of people have them.
No air conditioning. Usually.
No AC for you. And while I got the mic, thank you, Josie Ann, who had gifted out 5 subscriptions to the Rumble channel, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you for that, and I do appreciate that. Let's see. Mac, we got the earthquakes deal. Let me pull that one up quick. And dude, there was some bad ones.
This has been really strange. In the past week, 93 earthquakes of magnitude 4.5 or stronger worldwide.
Damn.
And you thought it would be just like a tectonic plate, but it's like all of them. So I just find it very strange. I wonder if there's some sort of weapon, as it's been alluded to in the past, of causing earthquakes. Apparently, there's been some resistance in Venezuela, for example, after the earthquake, of rescuers, being American ones, being able to help in the rescue effort. So that's just a side note. But if you want to scroll through this, but each one is on different plates.
Oh damn! And dude, it was bad. Venezuela was oof. And I almost wonder too. Like, is that like a deep state, spanking them for accepting working with the United States? Like, that's how my mind works and thinks. Like,
Yeah, me too. Because there were 2 earthquakes. It's called like a doublet or something. And it's rare. Now, asking AI, I'm like, how many rare earthquakes in the past week? And it came back with this answer. And then I'm asking, what tectonic plates were affected. And it's all over the place, and it's very abnormal, almost abnormal to to be a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like on purpose, like something's going on here.
Yeah, I would not doubt that at all. But you also have that like Ring of Fire area too. I think see block.
Yeah, but that's like, isn't that just one tectonic plate?
That's me playing golf right there, by the way.
There, that's it.
This is another image I grabbed the other day. Japan with an O. This is the Ring of Fire, I believe they call this, right? And so you get one here, and then later on you'll get one here, and then it bounces over here, and then whatever. So I think that's what they're saying is they think that, you know, the waves here spread out there, and then it'll affect one here. Sometimes it'll go boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Sometimes not, but 93 in a week, dude, over 4.5, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
I think
what's the
is
Richter
it just
scale?
in the Ring of Fire? It was 4.5 or greater.
Yeah, but I think years ago they used to use the Richter scale, and I feel like they changed it to make the newer scale so they don't seem as bad.
Possibly. I know over like a 6 is pretty strong. That's pretty devastating.
Yeah, it was bad. Let me see if I can.
Venezuela's was 7.2, immediately a 7.5. And look, it's off the beaten path on that map. It just doesn't correlate to me to say, oh yeah, just the Ring of Fire. I feel like there's more to it. That's just me though.
No, I agree. I think I'm more leaning towards somebody who's triggering these things to essentially, maybe to tap their rear end. Naughty. You've been naughty out there working with those Americans, bad guys. But yeah, let me see. I think I have one here. Oh wait, discard. There we go. Oh, come on. Here we go. You can see. Oh no. Oh, I guess we got a new update for this one from our good friend Maui Nafal. Let me block this for a second here. So you folks, ding, ding, ding. They're talking about the death toll is rising, but I wanted to show the folks some of the damage that's out here, of course, because it is. I mean, dude, that's bad. You can see where some of the. Who puts friggin' suspenseful music? Like, oh, this is an earthquake. Ah.
They've been finding people still, and it's pretty incredible. I know President Trump posted they found a baby still alive under the rubble.
Yeah, they saved the baby. I mean, dude, that's like a whole hotel right there, just flipped on its side.
Yeah, there is a video that came out today. It shows a high-rise building just toppling over.
Probably this one. I can tell it just literally went.
One of the things that's come out is, and I have a video on it, the buildings are not all concrete apparently, and some of them have been insulated with styrofoam. So,
oh god,
yeah, it's
that's no bueno.
Yeah, I mean, it's a video just showing the styrofoam. You don't need to play. They're talking in Spanish, but it's at a a site where the buildings collapsed and they.
Ooh, what do we got here, by the way?
Oh yeah, that.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, they posted that today.
Department of Education now getting into the mix. Get your popcorn ready for a showdown tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time at CBS. The president's.
The video's next right here.
All right, let's see what we got here. 19 seconds.
And it's very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
Wow.
Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it? Do you think he knows what it is?
Wow.
No, but
That was a little edited, just so you guys know. Just a little bit. That's funny, dude. Gulf of
That's
America.
a Q meme if I've ever seen one from the Anons.
Oh, 100%, dude. What did I have in here too? Oh, hold on. I had something I put aside for us as we're somewhat winding down here. Oh, I had some stuff out of.
Play if you wanted to play that video right there that shows them pulling styrofoam out of the concrete. It's kind of crazy.
Oh God, isn't that, dude? I would be so pissed off. Oh, I'm on saved messages. That's why. Here we go. I'm on the wrong thing here.
Miren esta mierda.
Usted también will take off the sound. That's no está soundo. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
maybe it's the insulation part of it, hopefully. Let's see, any Spanish-speaking folks in here?
Es anime, weón, es anime. Las columnas, esta mierda, gobierno maldito.
Mierda, shit.
¿Ves? Anime. O sea, acá es el mío. O sea, acá es. Por aquí le ponen medio cemento. Pero está relleno de anime. Eso es anime, mamá huevo, puro anime.
It said something radio, like in the middle. It's even styrofoam.
Yeah, styrofoam in the middle. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. And yeah, that's definitely not like that's definitely not like just a thing that you would spray insulation into something. Like it looks like a pylon or a friggin' load supporting wall or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's insulation done like this to keep, heat and cool, but that's not a support mechanism. And I think that's what it's showing, that styrofoam is used along with the concrete to act as support.
Damn.
That's a no-no.
That's a big. I don't teach you that one in.
Now, notice in Venezuela, like it was all along like waterfront. Yet again, the damage. There's been also Kentucky's been getting nailed with floods. I think Iowa had a hailstorm that was like biblical. If you just look it up on Twitter, and this is the past couple days, so the weather's been pretty wild.
Yeah, and I'm hearing other people are saying that my buddy in I think Ohio, Indiana area, he's saying that like it's almost like Tornado Alley. Seems like they're adjusting towards that area a little bit more, which is, oh, by the way, they want to put up some data centers in that area. Oh, what a coinky dink. It's like, oh, okay, data centers come in, people go out. And that's exactly what they would do. Dude, that is just bananas over there, bro. Wait, hold on. I have something over here. I want to make sure I got this link. All right. Bolton spy. Dude, how awesome was that, too, that Bolton...
Oh, finally.
And he pled guilty to it as well, which is, And they said...
daughter and his wife are holding the information, so who else can we expect to possibly to be indicted on that? James Comey, you think? With his daughter? I don't know. It came to mind because his daughter's been all over the Epstein stuff and everything. I wonder if there's some sort of corollary. But the fact that they got Bolton, he has to be singing. He's apologized when they asked him about it. He says, "I'm sorry. I did that." So, yeah, his retirement's all taken away. I forget how many years it was in prison, like 5.
Up to 5 years and a $2 million or a $2.5 million fine.
Yeah.
What's old Thomas doing here, brother? Nobody seems to know.
This might be a giveaway of what's gonna be decided on tomorrow. I didn't listen to all of it. I figured it'd be a good listen for us on the show.
All right, I can tell you now. If you're looking for him to tell her anything, it's not happening. I'll play some of them. He gives her a zip. But it's funny because look
at his reaction and stuff. Body language. You'll see.
I enjoy him very much, dude. I think he's a great American and a great dude. And it's just funny too because she keeps trying to pull stuff out of him, and he's just. I guess
so. Justice Thomas, can we ask who you were meeting with today?
What'd you say?
Can we ask who you were meeting with this afternoon?
What'd you say?
Who were you meeting with this
Oh,
afternoon?
nobody.
You weren't meeting with the speaker. You were in.
Oh God, no.
So what are you doing up here?
Oh, just walking.
No meetings in particular?
I'm going to tell you about.
Tomorrow's going to be a big day at the court, huh? Final day of decisions?
Oh, I guess so.
You want to give us a sneak peek of some of the decisions?
Nope.
But you can't tell us why you're up here today. Who you're meeting with? Who are you meeting with, sir? Were you up here for any particular reason? No info on who you may have been meeting with? Anyone in House GOP leadership? That's who has offices in there.
Take a hint, lady.
Any matters you were up here discussing? Any comment on today's decisions and the end of the Supreme Court term?
You have good questions.
And any comment on the end of the term?
You have good questions.
Do you want to answer any of them? Any
No.
comment at all?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
He's like, on the way out.
Well, you gotta think it's a liberal asking him the question, and most likely, and he's laughing in her face.
A liberal. Sorry. A liberal named Michael. Michael Schnell. Your guess is as good as mine, dude. Author Michael Schnell.
Oh God.
Michael Schnell. All right, let me see what else we got in the can for this. I do have
So
this too.
I'm guessing that I'm thinking that it's gonna go well, but you never know what they've got up their sleeve.
What's still open for tomorrow?
It's supposed to be the birthright citizenship ruling is tomorrow. That's what they're rumoring right now. Polymarket made that announcement.
Boy, see how that works out.
So that's what he was trying. That's what she was trying to get out of him. I thought you knew that, and he's laughing at her. So I take that as a good thing for us.
I mean, he was just giggling, and I thought it was funny too at the end where he's like, "You got some good questions. Oh, would you like to answer any of those?" Nope. Meeting with anybody? Nobody I'm going to tell you about. Love it. And dude, being a young kid, I totally bought that crap back in the day with Anita Hill. It's amazing I can even remember her name with the hair on the Coke can deal. And dude, I remember thinking of like, what kind of guy what kind of come on move is that? What kind of slime ball would say that to a woman? Ugh, he can't be a Supreme Court justice. What a scumbag. And like, of course, not having any idea about politics at the time, right? Like none at all. This was, and I read it, I think most of this yesterday, but this goes into, and I'm not going to do it now. You guys can go watch the end of the show yesterday, but this goes into back and forth on, this is Svetlana Lokova, who's, she's been into this stuff. British historian, eyewitness, exposing the grand conspiracy against President Trump. And she did have a book called Spygate Exposed. But she basically went through all this stuff and went through it. And now all these things go back to October of 2025. But it does talk about how him and his wife and him and his daughter were talking about, what they're going to be doing with this stuff, right? And that he was national security advisor, I think, for Herbert Walker Bush, and then the other Bush, maybe, was it Clinton? I don't know if he was Clinton, but he was not for Obama. But then he came back in under President Trump, and then 30 days after he basically started, he started a group chat with his wife and his wife and his daughter, and then the daughter says, like, "Why are we using this encryption stuff now?" And her mother's like, "Yep, why not?" And then Bolton says, "For diary in the future." So he looked at this opportunity to be the national security advisor for President Trump as a way to cash in and make more money. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And obviously he pre-planned to do this thing the whole time. I mean, this shows premeditation of the whole damn thing. So, I mean, dude, you can go through, all the stuff that they have of the communications with him and his wife and his daughter, and then you can actually go through the information of the documents found in his possession. And also another one of those things was that they were saying in here how he used to write himself these very detailed notes at the end of, during all these conferences that they would have, and then he would later message them. So essentially, they were writing a book the whole time, and they knew exactly what they were doing. So all that evidence, I think he had no choice but to plead guilty. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, you have all the documentation between the family members, right? And then he had these documents in his possession. What can he say? I mean, you have to. At that point, I'm sure his lawyers were like, you're dead to rights. What can we do for you?
Yeah, the sentencing would be a lot more harsh if he probably pled not guilty.
Right.
You know?
And then now
on the trial, all that stuff.
We'll see how it works, but I mean, at the end of the day, this was the press conference that they had last week, and they said that it'll be $2 or $2.5 million and up to 5 years in prison. But my guess is they'll give him probation or something like that, which I don't think he should. I think he should see a prison cell for that stuff. You put people's lives in danger, you know, very seriously. Let's see. All right. Any pertinent things that we're not hitting that we need to hit today, my man? Let me see.
I thought a good refresher would be United States versus Reynolds. That matches up to kind of what we're experiencing with this lawfare and why everything's taking, people want to rest and why it's taking so long and why the secrecy. We got the hint. We got the hint. Did I post it down in the chat?
Was the crashed aircraft one?
No, it's basically the Q post. What Supreme Court case allows for the use of military intelligence versus congressional assembled and approved agencies. And that would be United States versus Reynolds. So that's state secrets privilege. And that allows military intelligence, president to operate in secrecy without telling Congress.
Let me read a little bit of it here.
I might have a little bit more. Let me look though, but go ahead.
Sure. So Maca made this screenshot here. What Supreme Court case allows for the use of military intelligence versus congressional assembled and approved agencies? United States versus Reynolds 1953 is the foundational decision that established the state secrets privilege, which allows government, particularly military and intelligence agencies, to withhold information from legal proceedings when disclosure would risk national security. This case did not directly pit military intelligence against congressional agencies, but it affirmed the executive branch's authority to protect sensitive military and intelligence matters, even in civil litigation. The Supreme Court ruled that the government could invoke a privilege to withhold documents related to military secrets, stating that the, quote, privilege against revealing military secrets is well established in the law of evidence. This decision reinforced the president's constitutional role as commander-in-chief and head of foreign affairs, allowing executive agencies like the military and intelligence community to operate with secrecy when Congress has not explicitly limited such authority. While Congress has oversight power and can create agencies with statutory authority through the National Security Act, the Reynolds decision affirms that executive agencies, especially in military and intelligence contexts, may operate under confidentiality protections recognized by the courts. And Mac, that's I mean, hey, we have to do this operation quietly. We have to do this stuff. We can't let people know because, you know, if a mass of the population knows too early before they're starting to see exactly what's going on here, we could have riots. So therefore, we need to keep this stuff quiet until time in which President Trump, or whoever's running this thing here, decides that it's time. Because I will stake my claim on President Trump is the perfect ringleader of this circus. He's the perfect front man, center man, but I don't believe this is his plan. I believe it was a plan put together by not only, I don't even think it was just people from our military, dude. I think it was from around the world, to be honest with you. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's what they've been, I think President Trump and crew has been setting up for years, is this interoperability, the being able to operate without divulging all your information, but for the operational purposes, resources from both sides in order to perform an operation. I think before they were limited to just their own side, and then you'd have communication on down. The digital age, allows, exchange of surveillance and information and all that good stuff in a very timely fashion. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So, this is the other part. Yeah, go ahead with this.
Says when the United States versus Reynolds precedent is invoked, specifically the state's secret privilege, the following parties are typically, now remember that, typically, guys, and I'll explain why it may skew a little bit from this. The following parties are typically aware of the action. 1. The presiding judge or court. The court must evaluate whether the privilege is properly invoked, even if it does not examine the classified material directly. 2. The head of the executive department. Example, Secretary of Defense or Air Force. They must personally assert the privilege in writing. 3. Legal teams involved in the case. Both government attorneys and opposing counsel are informed that the privilege has been claimed, though they may not see the classified content. 4. The Department of Justice, DOJ, coordinates legal strategy and often files the formal claim on behalf of the department. 5. Executive branch officials with security clearances. Those within the relevant agency, Air Force, CIA, whatever, who manage the classified information. However, the public and media are generally not informed of the details, and Congress is not automatically notified unless the case intersects with oversight matters. The privilege prevents disclosure of sensitive national security information during litigation, and while the court retains the final say on its validity, it often defers to the executive branch's assessment. So, dude, that's cool. And I actually thought it was going to get into saying that it can basically, that Congress was going to be one of these. And I thought it wouldn't just be regular Congress. I thought it would have been like the Gang of Eight. But it doesn't even look like that they would have to tell even a member of the intelligence Gang of Eight that this stuff was going on. But just the people that are in charge.
Yeah, and he gets the right people in the know, in the right positions. And then, you think about who's, the DOJ who's heading that, and then Department of War, the CIA, all that stuff. So, what was I getting at here? I can't remember. I lost my train of thought just a second. Let me, no, that has to do with the counterintelligence operation or counterinsurgency operation. But yeah, that's all included with this. Though it allows him to operate without, specifically this addresses infiltration, because not everybody, Congress, all that stuff, all that infiltration, this allows them to play it out. And because President Trump is the commander in chief, the military can even work, they're like, under like continuity of government or however you want to, they can test the legality of doing something or present a case in any way possible through the commander in chief. And I looked that up. Like, the military can't go to the Supreme Court and present a case, but through President Trump, they can. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So this whole thing is lawfare at its highest, and our Constitution sitting in the middle defending, our country. And we have to set parameters now of what, the executive branch can and cannot do, knowing the fact that it appears, identified the fact that the Supreme Court's the judicial system has been overacting their power and not letting the president do. That's crazy. Is that sedition? 90 years? Is that like a term, 90 years worth? I don't know. That just seems crazy. 90 years they've held back, a president from, no matter who it was, from doing their job.
Yeah, from having the full power that they should have had. And yeah, it's kind of like we were talking about at the very beginning of the show, where it was like, oh, gas companies, can we pull them into the RICO because they're trying to, tear down the country? Could you do the same to the Supreme Court justices when they become activist judges rather than ruling on the law and the way it should be? because
I mean,
that's
if
what
it
it seems.
falls under national security, right? And I
Sure
would think
does.
that, yeah. So yeah, it would.
Certainly does. So I can't wait to see what's going to be coming out next, because it's only Monday now, and we got the 4th of July this weekend. Be safe out there, guys. Don't be getting in front of a bunch of morons with short wicks, if you know what I'm saying. I've had a few of those issues over the days. But, dude, they don't even make, around here anyways, and probably most states now, but they don't even make fireworks or sell fireworks, like, worth having fun with. Like, you know, when I grew up, and I'm sure when you grew up and most folks in the chat, at least we could have salutes, right? Hey, look, one light blows up a bunch, you know, boom, 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 boom. Bottle rockets. Dude, we can't even have salutes or regular bottle rockets. They do sell the bigger ones now, you know, like the ones that you have to buy in a pack or whatever, but it's pretty ridiculous now how much they've regulated that stuff.
There's like the tame fireworks, and then you got to go over state lines to get like the real fireworks.
Dude, my buddies went to Pennsylvania one day to go to a fireworks place down there because that's where they drove all the way down there, and they bumped into some Amish folks, and they ended up buying, I think it was like 100 M80s. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like an eighth of a stick of dynamite, essentially, that were made by the Amish people. And I think out of like 100 of them, maybe 20 of them were duds. But they bought them, I think, you know, I think they bought 100 of them for like $2 or $3, and then you could sell them for $5-6 back at home. So they tried to blow off most of them. But yeah, the Amish were making fireworks as well.
I wouldn't doubt it. We missed an article. It's at the bottom there.
What she got there? What she got there? Let me see. Oh, he's laughing. Oh, yeah. Let me get that one. Let me get that one up here. I actually have that link here. Hold on. Back to the Future. Is that what is that? Is that
It comes a week after we covered Solomon and everything. It's kind of funny.
Here we go. Knew I had it. All right. To the Future. MaQaveli to the Future. Trump touts Iran deal energy boom that could boost the trucking business. With the midterm elections now in clear view, President Trump is keeping his public comments focused on economic growth and the price of oil and gas. That focus was on display at a Mack Trucks plant in Pennsylvania Tuesday, then again on Capitol Hill. The war is going very well. As you know, we're winning by a lot. Iran is making very big concessions. We'll see what happens. But it's been very, very powerful, Trump told the press. On Tuesday, Trump toured the Mack Trucks assembly and casting the heavy-duty manufacturer's booming productions as fresh proof that his tariffs and energy policies are delivering for American factory workers days after brokering an Iran interim agreement. Mack Trucks. I think,
I don't know. Even I guess during time I've been here on Earth, we used to manufacture stuff in our country, a lot of it. And even before I was born, it was even much more. And throughout the decades, they've taken it away. President Trump is actually bringing the industry back, like industrial plants, manufacturing, the stuff that really set us apart. I think that's one of the reasons why we won World War II, is because we were able to manufacture quickly and with quality, based around our steel. If you remember our steel conversation.
Oh yeah. Steel.
So all this stuff was sold away to different countries, and as you were saying earlier, they're cheaping it, and they try to rip us off. So we are now going to have made in the USA. I hope they make it made in the USA, not made in USA. You remember how they used to do that?
Yeah. Remember when it actually meant something?
Yeah, made in it needs to have the USA.
Well, and you remember too, like, people, oh, well, I don't want to buy a $25 chair. I'm going to buy this $9 chair from China. It's like, all right, cool. Take it home. See, take it for a few test drives. See what happens. Back in the day, all that Chinese crap, people wouldn't even buy because you had the Made in America stuff. And the Made in America stuff, yeah, it'd be a little bit more expensive, but it was quality made and it would last a hell of a lot longer. Then we started getting made in China, made in Taiwan, made in all these other freaking countries. And we're so dependent on those countries, not only for products, but, clothing and automobiles and stuff, but medicines. And that should never be a thing. And I think President Trump's doing a great job of pulling that curtain back, essentially making it so we're going to be a self-reliant country. And, deals with this stuff too. I maybe shouldn't have clicked off of this, but dude, what a great opportunity, right? And I know they're not feeling like this now in Iran, especially the IRGC. But what an amazing opportunity it could be, because President Trump was talking about allowing them to like sell oil on the market, like on the legitimate market. And just imagine how much better life could be over there for them as well. And all around the planet, essentially. I hear a lot of sovereign, he's going to be dealing with this sovereign nation, and sovereign nations dealing with sovereign nations. And that's what we need to get back to. Rely on nobody and do it ourselves here. And might cost a little bit more, but it's going to last you longer in the end for sure. But dude, I did click on this, and I thought this was actually funny. A judge is delaying the trial for the man who was allegedly trying to assassinate President Trump at the White House dinner. Remember the dude that came running by with the video camera that was BS or whatever? But they're delaying it 45 days because there's a large volume of evidence in the case. What? Federal prosecutors said discovery will include thousands of pages and gigabytes of data spanning Allen's alleged activities from California to Washington, D.C. So they need to pause the trial for 45 days because there's so much evidence in the case.
It just got bigger. The scope might have just gotten bigger. Other people might be associated with this. They have to investigate it further to see how deep this goes. I don't know. It did involve some planning.
Yeah, no, they bullshit.
I mean, he can't just run it past. How he was able just to get in and run past and do all that stuff is kind of crazy. Yeah, but we got some more QComs.
Boom, locked in. Patriots in control. Interesting. Dude, I did one the other day. It was a little decode, and I forgot what it was, but essentially the Delta, it was a Patriots in control one. I don't even know. It might even be this one. Did you check the Deltas on any of these?
I just on something like that, I just use those as like confirmations, and sometimes I'll like the graphic is key, the map. So I like in that video you played. I forget what this. It refers to the map, and basically we need to unlock it.
Check this out though. This one does go back to so 127 would be 1327. That goes to this. That goes to this. Oh, Iran confirms Zarif Kerry meeting in New York. Hatch Act violation. A low blow to an old friend. But anyways, there was another one the other day. That basically, I don't remember if it probably was the White House or it was the Department of War CTO, but essentially it says Patriots have always been in control or something like that. And then when you go to the Delta, it's a Delta from back in 2018 where it says Patriots are in control. So it's almost like, Patriots have always been in control. And you go back to it and it says, yep, Patriots are in control 2018. So many of these things, dude. So many.
I'm sure you've pointed this out probably in the past shows in the past week, but that picture President Trump posted was a direct confirmation of Q. Again, it's at the bottom of the chat.
Bing, 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 boing.
One thing you have to notice is that they're using the same pictures in Q drops.
Oh yeah,
and the probability of that being a coincidence is like it's 0.
Interesting.
So it's done on purpose. And the war is real. He fights for you. And it's President Donald J. Trump.
1243, 1246, June 27th, May 11th. Yeah. He was in a military academy, and this dude was in a gay bathhouse most of the summer, from what I understand. No, I don't know, but he's a fag. Anyway, we know what him and his husband are up to. Michelle Obama's a man. Am I right, America?
Apparently, since U.S. aid has gone down, the rap industry has been taking a hit. Did you hear about that?
What is it? No number one rap hits.
Yeah, I just posted the
got it?
thing down. Yeah, down there.
No number one rap hits since the 90s, right? Yeah. No rap songs are in the Billboard Hot 100s for the top 40 for the first time since 1990. As one long-running hip-hop smash goes recurrent on the chart, the Hot Top 100's 40 does not boast a single rap song, ending a streak that's lasted for 35 years. Oh, I wonder why.
And this is maybe going to hurt some feelings, but it's a CIA operation, the rap industry, ran by gay guys.
And a tall Israeli man.
Yeah, well, that too. They're probably gay as well. But Tupac, a lot of these guys weren't what they were not gangsta. They weren't from the hood. They have a definite mixed past that was more or less groomed to be who they are. They created the image.
There's your boy right here, dude. Ready?
And just think about the culture how many people died, gang violence came from this. And it was all orchestrated by our CIA from allegedly, we'll say that in quotations, but they promoted drugs, they promoted violence, guns, and that all led to trafficking and glamorizing it.
I got the best bitches. I got the best cars. I got the best jewelry. I got the best. And that's what it's all about, right? And I was actually listening to something. I think somebody was actually discussing the article you brought up about no top hits or whatever. And they were saying how, if you remember, like Will Smith, right? Like wearing like the sweaters and stuff like that. And then like the big like African stuff, and it was all about like dancing and peace, love, and community, right? And then it turned into like East versus West rap gang, Bloods and Crips, and kill each other, and this is the best, and I got the best, and look at my diamonds, and look at my gold, and look at my bitches, and literally that's what it turned into. But it was not by accident. I think this guy's name is Lyon Cohen or something like that. Lyon or something like that, Cohen, I believe, or Leor Cohen. I forgot what the hell his name is, but yeah, it's a big evil deal. Yeah, and right here, MaQaveli, y'all. Anybody wonder why he does the diamond? It's not because it's diamonds. There it is.
Illuminati.
Leo. What's that guy's name? Is it Leor Cohen? Leor. Yeah, Liar Cohen. His name's Liar Cohen. How old? 1959. So that's 41. 70. 66? What? All right, MaQaveli. Time to Rapavelli it up. Let's see. Gotta go do a couple of thank yous over here. On the old Pilled. Fitting name for him, B-more. Yeah, Liar for sure. Over on the foxhole.app or pilled.net, where you guys should be if you're over on ScrewTube. You should be over there or on Rumble. That's the only reason I'm running this over here on YouTube, is so you guys will come to the light of day, to the good side. Sean Joe, Space Squad member, dropped a can over there. No message, but thank you, brother. Gigi be working it. Dropped a cookie, says dinner time, tip for Space Shot, laughing emoji, quiet crowd. And then a couple of cool faces emojis. Thank you for that, Gigi. It took me about 2 months, but I got the name down. Sean Joe dropped another cookie on there and then followed up with another cookie. 2 in a row there. Appreciate that, my man. And then the last but not least, One Thunder with the can. And boom, I am releasing the scratch-offs. And again, I wanted to thank over on the Rumble side, Lee337Q for gifting 1 subscription to the channel, and Josie Ann for gifting 5 to the channel. I do appreciate you both. And Mr. Maxer, any parting words or any thoughts on the way out the door, my man?
Well, great show. As usual, a lot to cover. There
always.
Citizen Vigilante is probably something to take a look at. I thought it was, I watched some of it. It's banned in Germany, and you can conclude why. It has to do with illegals coming into a country and evading them and doing illegal things. So Anybody that wants to watch that, do that. And looking forward to see what unfolds in the next week. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of trolling going on by President Trump. He said he's been waiting for the communists his whole life. So I'm sure. And didn't he say something like "enjoy the show" or something like that? In true Trump fashion, there's going to be some comedy involved, but also some serious truth telling, and I'm looking forward to it. But keep the faith, everyone. I think we've come out of the Iran situation pretty good. It wasn't as bad as everyone thought it was. It just needed time for clarity, and hopefully we continue the peace campaign. And we know what the direction of what President Trump's doing. We'll keep you updated the more we figure it out. But he is trying to bring peace, not just to the United States, to the country or to the world, and he's trying to get rid of all of the bad people that have been ruining it. So,
100
till next week.
Yeah, 216 guys. This has
Thanks
been
again.
Yeah, no, always, brother. No, you don't have to thank. This is your show as well, my man. So, people do ask from time to time where Lisa is. And remember, guys, Lisa's taking her break because she's been working on some monumental task project for work that she's on the culmination of, apparently. So, and she was super excited, and it's a good thing for her, like really good. So, don't think she's like hurting or anything like that. She's doing super good. So, and of course, we always love Lisa. So there's no ill will between any of us here. And she always has an open door to come back whenever she is ready. But she's just very busy, apparently, lately. So, yeah, there's that. And then thank you to the mods out there. And do us a favor, if you guys enjoyed the show, help us get on the top 50 leaderboard. I think we're going to crack the top 20 on this one today. I really do. So with your help, guys, we can do such. Mac, great show as usual, and always thanking the mods again and again and again, as your help is greatly appreciated, helping not only myself but many others over these last many years. So it is well noted as well. So I'll be back with Ghost, Mike, and Armando tomorrow, 7 o'clock as well. Hope you guys can join me. And until then, for Mac and myself, we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, oh God, whoops, sorry, I had to look down, but I did, and I saw it. The real Chris Cockrell had also gifted a subscription to the channel just the very last minute there. And then right before that, G-Fonts dropped $1 holler. It says the East Coast, West Coast semi-fictional gangster rap dispute was all started with the beatdown of Tupac Shakur, and look who his family connections are. Yes, it was all big. It was all set up, I think, and hopefully they'll clean that stuff up. But thank you, G-Fonts and real Chris Cockrell. I do appreciate you guys, and again, we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right. It's brackets and jackets. Bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right, Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. And red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.